2 days passed very quickly. Although nothing happened in these 2 days, Yi Mo still didn't dare to leave his sister by herself, but finally he felt more eased. After this was done, he would ask about what sort of an organization Earth Fiend really was. 2 days passed very quickly. Although nothing happened in these 2 days, Yi Mo still didn't dare to leave his sister by herself, but finally he felt more eased. After this was done, he would ask about what sort of an organization Earth Fiend really was. When Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei came to the front gate of the university, Qiao Gang had been waiting for them there already. However, Yi Mo felt that Qiao Gang's attitude to him was a little different. He could really tell the difference, but Qiao Gang seemed more reserved. Was it because of Earth Fiend last time? Yi Mo also knew now wasn't the time to ask, so after the race was over, he would then ask Qiao Gang. Although Qiao Gang was a little reserved, he was very happy seeing Yi Mo. However, Yi Mo noticed that Qiao Gang didn't bring his bodyguard today. Yi Mo immediately understood that that sort of bodyguard was just a display for an Earth Fiend hitman. Brother Yi, the car is ready. It's on the race course. Let's go over now. Qiao Gang just drove over an ordinary Mercedes car. After inviting Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei in the car, Qiao Gang drove. After starting the car, he said, "Brother Yi, I will tell you about the situation. The racers invited by the other 3 families are all international racers. Some have even gotten first place in F1 racing." Yi Mo asked curiously, "Young Master Qiao, since the other people are all inviting international racers, why does your Qiao family still invite me? I'm no racer." Qiao Gang heard Yi Mo's words and immediately replied, "Brother Yi, you're being too humble. I'm sure that even an international racer won't be able to dump my Porsche behind with an Audi in such a short time. But Brother Yi, you did it. I believe in you. Plus, mountain driving is different to international racing. Even an F1 racer won't have much advantage. I have a map of the course here. Brother Yi, take a look." Then Qiao Gang handed Yi Mo a map. Yi Mo took it and looked, and then realized the race ground was under a peak at the Guixiang Ranges. The path was very curved, and the race was quite dangerous. With a small mistake, it wouldn't be racing but plummeting to your death. Despite Tang Beiwei having a lot of faith in Yi Mo, she was still worried upon seeing the map in her brother's hands. This wasn't racing cars, but racing life. As though seeing Tang Beiwei's worry, Yi Mo smiled and said, "Don't worry, I've been on this road before. It's nothing." Yi Mo didn't lie. However, it was when Dong driving before. Qiao Gang said apologetically, "I guess the race grounds would be here." And it was. It's very easy to fall off the cliff. So if Brother Yi doesn't want to race, we still have other people. Yi Mo waved his hand. "Young Master Qiao, if I don't participate, it definitely won't be due to danger, but time." Qiao Gang seemed to know Yi Mo was telling the truth and nodded. "I'm actually quite familiar with that road. It's because we usually chose this place to race." Yi Mo knew what Qiao Gang meant. It was a place where the bored young masters expended their abundant energy. Despite Qiao Gang driving very fast, it was already an hour or so later after they arrived at the race course, and the entrance to this road had been sealed. There was a big open area at the foot of the mountain, and there were already about 50 to 60 people there. The racetrack at the bottom of the mountain was very wide and could space 7 or 8 cars, and the racers could choose a path halfway. One way was 20 miles long, but if you wanted to take over other cars, you had to go on the takeover path. That would mean going an extra 5 kilometers. But the rule of the race was as long as you got to the finish line first, you win. When Yi Mo and they got off the car, there were immediately many glances looking at them. Yi Mo saw a few race cars lined up at the grass. Each one had someone to guard it. Each family had their own car. It was his first time seeing so many customized brands. Ferrari, Lamborghini, BMW, Lotus, Porsche, Bugatti, and so on. Qiao Gang brought Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei to the Qiao family's place. There were 4 cars parked here. The Chow family people came to say hi, but Yi Mo just greeted them casually. He only came to help because he promised Chow Gang. He didn't have the mood to get friendly with the Chow family. Yi Mo noticed Zhang. When Zhang saw Yi Mo come, he had a cruel look in his eyes. He also had a racer who was not yet 30 beside him. His face was also very cold. Behind Zhang, there were 2 more people. One was a black racer. When Xiao Gang saw the black racer, he immediately said quietly to Yi Mo, "That's the international racer, Martin, invited by the Yun family." The Yun family is very interested in the blood coral and has spent a fortune on this. I suspect it was the Yun family who hired the hitman last time. This family is the most mysterious. When you get in the car, you need to be wary of the Yun family, and Zhang, that punk, he's very sneaky. Yi Mo nodded and scanned his eyes to the last 2. Xiao Gang immediately said, "That's the River South Cha family people." It said the Cha family is a semi-hidden family. However, they are quite nice. I feel that amongst these families the most amicable are the Cha family. The people they have invited aren't very famous, and they didn't bring up any requests to the blood coral. Hearing Xiao Gang's introduction, Yi Mo looked at the 2 racers of the Cha family. Indeed, they looked very positive and bright. Yi Mo couldn't help but smile. Perhaps Xiao Gang's words influenced him. He turned around and spoke to that waiter of the Chow family a bit. Xiao Gang interrupted. "Brother Yi, go choose a car." Just when Yi Mo wanted to choose a car, he felt this frigidness. He subconsciously wanted to look back, but he immediately stopped himself and scanned with his spirit sense carefully. In Yi Mo's perspective, something that could make him feel cold must be killing intent. Just then, Zhang He looked at him nefariously, but how could Zhang He, this useless spoon-fed kid, have this sort of killing intent? Regardless if it was him, if that person wanted to play tricks in the race, it would be suicide. However, Yi Mo noticed Zhang He didn't look at him and was speaking to the racer next to him. Yi Mo thought and immediately scanned the 2 racers of the Yun family. They were fine too. Then his spirit sense stayed on the 2 racers of the Cha family, but found one of them seemingly looking at him. Yi Mo was sure that if he didn't have spirit sense, he definitely wouldn't be able to find this racer's gaze. The eyes of that racer lost that positive look and flashed across killing intent. It was actually the most amicable family, Xiao Gang said. Yi Mo frowned. That racer who showed killing intent to Yi Mo immediately returned to his positive bright look. He didn't even know the Cha family. Why would they have killing intent for him? River South Cha family? Yi Mo suddenly remembered that Wu Guang monk mentioned to him that Cha family was a semi-hidden sect. No matter who it was, he wouldn't let go of those who had their killing intent targeted to him. Yi Mo scanned this racer's body with his spirit sense again and felt dazed. At a very discreet place in the racer's sleeve, there was a tattoo with a double-sided knife. Earth Fiend Hitman? No wonder he felt killing intent. It was a hitman. However, this hitman was too low caliber, as his killing intent was leaking. Although he had a good masquerade, Yi Mo could see it clearly. According to Xiao Gang's description, 2 knives meant it was a human-level hitman. Yi Mo sneered. Since he found the Earth Fiend killer, it meant that this killer probably came for him. Discovering a hitman, Yi Mo immediately became careful. His spirit sense kept scanning everyone on the scene. He carefully checked to see if their wrists were tattooed, but soon Yi Mo found that another girl also had the same tattoo. There were 2 hitmen here. Yi Mo's heart sank. He wasn't afraid of Earth Fiend, but was worried about his sister Tang Beiwei. If these hitmen only had their targets on him, he wouldn't mind, but what if these hitmen also targeted Tang Beiwei? No matter where he took Tang Beiwei, she wouldn't be safe. "Brother Yi, let's go choose a car." Xiao Gang saw Yi Mo hesitant, and he reminded him. "Okay." Yi Mo casually chose a customized Mercedes and then looked at Xiao Gang and said, When we race, it's fine if I take my sister too, right? Yi Mo had decided that if he had to leave his sister here facing that female assassin, he would rather not help Xiao Gang race. Xiao Gang was initially dazed, but he immediately replied, "Of course it's fine. But this way, Brother Yi, you would be at a disadvantage. It's better the lighter you are. Sometimes, just a little weight can affect the race." Xiao Gang was initially dazed, but he immediately replied, "Of course, it's fine. But this way, Brother Yi, you would be at a disadvantage. It's better the lighter you are. Sometimes, just a little weight can affect the race." "Yeah, brother. How about I wait for you here?" Tang Beiwei persuaded. Yi Mo shook his head. "No, I must take you with me. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel safe leaving you here." "In that case, Brother Yi, go test your car." Xiao Gang saw that Yi Mo was dogmatic and didn't continue to try to persuade him. The 4 cars of the Qiao family also had people guarding it outside. However, those not from the Qiao family weren't allowed to go near it. However, Yi Mo was the racer, so when they came, the guard immediately moved aside. Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei in the customized Mercedes and drove 2 circles. Tang Beiwei asked, "Brother, did you notice something?" Yi Mo nodded and said, "Amichum, I found 2 Earth Fiend killers. They must be coming for us. I'm worried to leave you here alone." Tang Beiwei finally understood why Yi Mo insisted on taking her. Now, she knew the severity of the issue. It could be said from now on, either Yi Mo or the Earth Fiend had to die. What to do now? "How about this, you send me to the Yi family?" Tang Beiwei had understood Yi Mo. If she followed behind Yi Mo, she would only be a burden. Although she didn't want to go to the Yi family, in order to not drag her brother down, she wouldn't mind stepping out of her comfort zone. Yi Mo shook his head and said, "Beiwei, you're thinking too simple. If the Earth Fiend really has its target set on us too, then it wouldn't be any use even if you go to the Beijing Yi family. But you don't need to worry. I have a place to send you to. After I completely annihilate the Earth Fiend, then I will come to take you back. However, that place is empty and cold. You might not be able to take it." Tang Beiwei nodded her head firmly and said, "Brother, don't worry about me. Just send me there. I'm not afraid." "Okay, after I break through, I will make the Earth Fiend pay. How dare they target me?" Yi Mo's tone went sharp. "Wait, sit in the car, and don't move. I'll check the car." Yi Mo suddenly stopped talking and frowned. The frigidness in his eyes was getting intense. Tang Beiwei looked strangely at Yi Mo and asked, "What's wrong, brother?" Yi Mo didn't reply. He stopped the car and used invisibility and came to the bottom of the car. He took off a time bomb. Luckily, he checked carefully with his spiritual sense. He didn't expect this car to even have a time bomb set up. These people really had some power. If this car had a time bomb, it meant the other cars had a time bomb too. It seemed these Earth Fiend people were really prepared. Not only did they plant the time bomb, but also sent 2 people over. Yi Mo was sure that it was either the Cha family racer or the female hitman who planted the bomb. Zhang he didn't have such ability to do so. After taking off the bomb, Yi Mo got in the car and drove it back. "How's the car?" As soon as Yi Mo got off, Qiao Gang came and smiled. Yi Mo nodded. "Not bad. This car has very good features after the customization. By the way, young Master Qiao, can you help me get some water? I'm thirsty." After getting Qiao Gang away, Yi Mo quickly went invisible and took off another 3 bombs from the Qiao family cars. Yi Mo didn't dare to keep these bombs on him. Although he was sure the Earth Fiend people would detonate it during the race, who knew if they would go crazy and detonate it now. Just when he put the bomb aside and came back to the car, Qiao Gang came and passed a bottle of water to Yi Mo. "Brother Yi, let's go in and have a rest. It will start soon." "Brother Yi, when the race begins, I suspect the Zhang family will play dirty. I will keep an eye on Zhang He, that punk, while you keep an eye on the guy beside him. Also, we need to be mindful of the Yun family. We don't need to worry about the Cha family. Looking at the people they sent this time, they probably don't have much hope for the race. The few people went into the resting room, and Xiao Gang immediately shared his analysis. Yi Mo used his spirit sense to keep notice on the 4 cars. He was afraid that someone would try to do something to it again. However, although Yi Mo didn't agree with Xiao Gang's words, he didn't argue. Things were the exact opposite of what Xiao Gang said. The most amicable Cha family was the most dangerous character. The race is about to begin. Let's go out. I'll go test my car. Xiao Gang stood up. Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei and Xiao Gang out and immediately noticed that nice-looking female hitman. He immediately said to Tang Beiwei, "Beiwei, wait for me at the race course. I will drive the car over there immediately." Tang Beiwei had no objections to all to Yimo's suggestions. She believed that everything Yi-Mo did was right. No matter how mysterious Yi-Mo was, she didn't mind as long as Yi-Mo was her brother. Yi-Mo walked over to this girl. "Hello, I'm Yi-Mo. Can I get to know you?" Yi-Mo smiled and extended his hand. The girl didn't expect Yi-Mo to go up to her. Although she wasn't that attractive in here, there were a few girls prettier than her. Her first reaction was that Yi-Mo had already found her. But then she thought this was impossible. She just came here so no one knew her. She reached out her hand anxiously. "Hello, I'm Dong Qing." Yi-Mo clearly felt her heart beat rapidly, and then returned to normal. It seemed this female hitman was still not experienced. Yi-Mo grabbed Dong Qing's hand and squeezed, not letting go for a long time, until Dong Qing's face blushed and tried to pull her hand out. "Actually, I feel you're a special girl, so I wanted to know you. You have a temperament that other girls don't have. It's quite attractive. I don't have any bad intentions. I just really want to ask you out for dinner. How about we go eat after the race? What do you think?" Yi-Mo was still using his spirit sense to make a mark. Of course, she wouldn't let Dong Qing pull her hand away so easily. Just when Dong Qing didn't know what to do, he let go of her hands. Although it was a short time, Yi-Mo already made a spirit sense mark on Dong Qing. After the race, he would follow this Dong Qing. Since the Earth Fiend was interested in him, he had to be friendly. Dong Qing looked down and just said one word and blushed. Yi-Mo sneered. This hitman was quite good. She was more professional than actors, blushing at will. Sigh. Yi-Mo saw that Dong Qing didn't talk and sighed while staring at her chest. "What's wrong?" Just when Dong Qing wanted to say something, she saw Yi-Mo stare right at her chest. Her mind blanked out. Didn't the data not say that Yi-Mo was very lustful? What was this? Yi-Mo smiled and didn't reply. Then he said, "Wait for me," and he turned to leave, but he murmured, "If only it was a little bigger." And Dong Qing happened to hear this remark. She immediately knew that Yi-Mo was saying her chest was too small. However, Yi-Mo's voice was very quiet. He probably didn't say it for her, but she had this strange feeling. Dong Qing bit her teeth. Although a hitman was supposed to be not affected by emotions, she was still infuriated by Yi-Mo. How was her chest small? Did this guy have eyes? Although she knew Yi-Mo was a dead person, she still wanted to charge up and grab him and ask how exactly was she small. As a hitman, she should resist the urge, but as a woman, she really couldn't tolerate that. Yi-Mo did it intentionally, of course. His last words were meant to make Dong Qing angry, and his spirit sense would disappear from her body. Although she wouldn't be able to find it even if Dong Qing wasn't infuriated, he still wanted to be more careful. After all, after he killed the other killer, Dong Qing would be his only source. Instead of waiting for this organization to find him, he might as well attack them. It wasn't Yi-Mo's character to wait. Since this organization wanted to look for trouble with him, Yi-Mo would make them regret. Emma walked over the Mercedes and picked up the 4 bombs, and then drove the car next to the Cha family cars. Xiao Gang drove a customized Porsche. He was surprised seeing Yi Missouri drive his car next to the Cha family cars, but he soon understood. Yi Mo must think the Cha family would be easier to surpass, and this decision was right. There were 8 cars, and only Yi Mo took someone else in the car. Everyone else was surprised and soon started laughing at him. Who would bring another person in the car to a race? Dong Qing dazed for a moment. She obviously didn't expect Yi Mo would bring Tang Beiwei into the car. Tang Beiwei was her original target, and since she was brought on the car by Yi Mo, things were easier. Dong Qing gasped a breath of relief. Although her higher-ups said Yi Mo was very difficult to deal with and sent out 2 people at once, she felt the higher-ups were being too careful. Perhaps this would be the easiest mission she would do. Dong Qing dazed for a moment. She obviously didn't expect Yi Mo would bring Tang Beiwei into the car. Tang Beiwei was her original target, and since she was brought on the car by Yi Mo, things were easier. Dong Qing gasped a breath of relief. Although her higher-ups said Yi Mo was very difficult to deal with and sent out 2 people at once, she felt the higher-ups were being too careful. Perhaps this would be the easiest mission she would do. As the light turned green from red, the Zhang family's black racer was the first to charge across the starting line. Meanwhile, Xiao Gang was the second to go. The 2 racers of the Yun family were the 3rd and 4th. Yi Mo was the 5th. He knew that if he didn't go, Zhang he wouldn't either. To Zhang, his life was probably more important than blood coral. Yi Mo anticipated right. The last to go was the 2 racers of the Cha family. As expected, Zhang he went in front and blocked Yi Mo. This was mountain racing, and only the starting part was spacious. The road got tighter as the race progressed. Some places only allowed 1 car to pass. Zhang He's speed was very fast. He tailgated closely to Yi Mo's Mercedes while driving a Lamborghini. Yi Mo sneered. Although he followed the 2 racers of Yun family closely, he wasn't able to shake Zhang He away. He didn't know when the Earth Fiend Killer would detonate the bomb, and he also wanted to see the power of this bomb. Although the mountain racing course was very dangerous, the racers were still going very fast. That black driver was far ahead of everyone else. But Xiao Gang was slowly being overtaken by a racer of the Yun family. At this moment, they had driven 1/10 of the path. When they were about to go into the most dangerous section of the mountain waste, Yi Mo suddenly sped up his car. Meanwhile, Zhang he was planning to force Yi Mo off the cliff at this place. Yi Mo knew that the moment he started to fight with Zhang, it would be the time that Hitman attacked. Zhang he held his steering wheel tightly and sneered. "Fight with me? I started doing the mountain racing long time ago, when you probably even didn't know what car racing was." He said this to himself, and then suddenly stood down on the accelerator. His car dashed towards Yi Mo's tail. He was confident that he could squeeze Yi Mo into the cliff without anything happening to him. Zhang He's calculations were very accurate. He had calculated that there was a turn ahead, and he only needed to accelerate. Before Yi Mo could turn, he could bump Yi Mo off the cliff. Meanwhile, his car could use this repelling force to make a big turn without any affects. He had always been in mountain racing and knew how powerful this dash could be. He also knew that this force couldn't be too strong nor too weak. If too strong, his car would follow off the cliff. If too weak, he wouldn't be able to bump Yi Mo off. Although it was a bit hard, Zhang he believed in his technique. Rumble! The engine of the Lamborghini bursted, carrying out white smoke. Just when Yi Mo was about to turn, it rammed towards Yi Mo's car. As soon as his car touched Yi Mo's car's tail, he would turn the steering wheel. Behind Zhang he, the racer and the hitman of Cha family also dazed. Zhang he obviously wanted Yi Mo's life. This was what they wanted too. At the same time, that Earth Fiend Killer almost detonated the bomb, but stopped thinking that it would save him trouble if someone else would kill Yemo. He only needed to detonate the bomb on the car of Xiao Gang later. After Zhang, he slammed down on the accelerator. It almost instantly caught up to Yemo. Before Zhang he could rejoice, he felt something was wrong. Since he caught up, there should have been a collision, and Yemo would be rammed off the mountain. However, he found out that Yemo's car seemed to have suddenly disappeared while his car charged forward without halt. Not good. Yemo wanted both sides to end in death. He actually drove his car completely off the course. At this place, there was only enough room for one car to pass. Since Yemo moved aside, it meant he would fall off the cliff. Zhang he needed to turn sharply. However, as soon as he thought of that, he noticed that his car had went past the cliff. It was over. Zhang he turned and looked at that moment. His mind was full of disbelief. Yemo's car only had 2 wheels on the side of the cliff. The other 2 were hanging in midair. How was this possible? How did this car not fall off? But soon, his consciousness disappeared with a loud bang. Zhang He's car drove off the course and crashed. Although Tang Beiwei was nervous, she wasn't scared. She knew her brother's powers. He would definitely be able to handle this. Yemo saw Zhang He fall off the cliff and sneered. You want to colonize me with your petty moves. But he was curious. That killer actually didn't detonate the bomb in the meantime. He simply sent out his flying sword and used it to support the weight of his car. It seemed that his car only had 2 wheels on the roadside. Although his flying sword couldn't hold it very long, it was enough for Zhang He to drive off the cliff. After Zhang He's fall, Yemo drove the car onto the track again before taking back his flying sword. What was this? The Cha family hitman rubbed his eyes. He thought he saw wrong. Yemo clearly drove his car off the road. Why didn't he fall and could even drive back? This was absolutely impossible. However, just when he didn't know what was going on, Yemo's car had already disappeared around the corner. Why aren't you detonating? Hurry, we will retreat as soon as our mission is over. There was the call of his partner on the hitman's phone. Yes, I'll detonate it now. This hitman was depressed. He put his hopes of Zhang He just then, but immediately this hope was gone, and Zhang He lost his life too. The Cha family hitman pressed down on the detonator. Rumble, rumble. There was 2 loud sounds, and the 2 cars of Cha family both fell off the cliff at the same time and erupted into flames before even reaching the bottom. However, these 2 gusts of flames fell to the bottom immediately. Dong Qing even managed to make out some flames at the foot of the mountain. She had a bad feeling and immediately called for her partner, but there was no reply in a long time. Not good. Her 6th sense as a hitman told her that this mission was probably a failure, and her partner might have been in trouble. She remembered Yemo's faint smile, and that whatever attitude, Dong Qing shivered. As a guy who could easily kill her partner and catch crossbow arrows, how could he be killed so easily? Ironically, she had been thinking this might be the easiest mission yet. Cold sweat started dripping down on her back. She subconsciously looked at the other 2 cars of the Chow family. She had the urge to go up and see if the bombs were gone. Dong Qing subconsciously looked at the people at the foot of the mountain. Everyone was staring at the screen. There were no cameras at the sites of the incidents. The big screen only occasionally showed who was first. She secretly took out her phone and pretended to make a call as she neared the 2 cars of the Chow family parked on the side. The race had started, and no one paid attention to the remaining cars. People only cared about the result of the race. Dong Qing neared the car and chose the other side. She squatted and only checked one of the cars. Her heart immediately sunk. The bomb was gone. It must have been put under the 2 cars of the Cha family. Dong Qing suddenly felt a cold sense on her back. She put the bombs there herself, and she had been watching these 4 cars, but they were still taken away and put under their own cars instead. She didn't even know about it at all. What sort of ability was this? Dong Qing couldn't calm down anymore. She had seen eerie things, but something like this was her first time. Her back sweated uncontrollably. When Yi Mo came over to shake her hand, had he already known her identity? Instantly Dong Qing drew the conclusion that Yi Mo had 100% found out who she was and must have had a purpose to shake hands with her. Did he make some sort of mark on her in that short while? Go. Immediately go. She finally understood now why Yi Mo was going to bring his sister on the car. It was because he already knew who she was and was waiting till the end of the race to look for her trouble. Although Dong Qing hadn't been in this career for long, her talent allowed her to succeed 5 assassinations in a short time. One of them was a mafia tycoon. It was very hard. If she succeeded this time, she would immediately get a second orange badge. For any Earth Fiend hitman, any badge was honor and wealth. Once she acquired all of the 7 human badges, she would ascend to Earth-level hitman. But today, at this small place in Tandu, she felt fear. Dong Qing didn't dare to stay for another minute. She was going to leave Tandu as soon as possible and find a place to burn all of her clothes and then change her clothes before leaving. Although she didn't know what Yi Mo left on her body, her killer's sixth sense constantly told her she was in danger. Of course, Yi Mo heard that loud explosion. He sneered but also felt threatened. If he wasn't careful, perhaps the bang would be coming from his car. This explosion would cause him heavy injury even if it didn't kill him. Plus, he had his sister in the car. These Earth Fiend people were really bleak. Of course, Yi Mo heard that loud explosion. He sneered but also felt threatened. If he wasn't careful, perhaps the bang would be coming from his car. This explosion would cause him heavy injury even if it didn't kill him. Plus, he had his sister in the car. These Earth Fiend people were really bleak. Brother! Was the explosion just then from the car of that killer? Of course, Tang Beiwei also heard the explosion. Yi Mo nodded. Yes, that hitman planted the bomb under our car and was discovered by me. I put their bombs back, and then they detonated the bombs on themselves. This is called you suffer what you do. Tang Beiwei subconsciously clutched her hands and said after a long while of retrospective fear, these people are so bad, it serves them right. It was too dangerous just then. Then her face showed worry. Although they avoided it this time, what about next time? Brother, I feel the society is really different from what I saw. Before, I only saw the surface, and there were many that I couldn't see. Sigh. Only after experiencing it do I know how scary it is. Tang Beiwei exclaimed. Yi Mo smiled. He had never felt this place was very safe. Although it was better than the cultivation realm, danger was still everywhere. He had already killed the few people who wanted to kill him. Yi Mo's car had sped up. On the curved road, Yi Mo's car was getting sadder and faster. It had only been a few minutes before he saw the car in 4th place. It was from the Yun family. At a more spacious place, before this driver could react, Yi Mo had surpassed him like the wind. The 3rd was Qiao Gang. Qiao Gang was just surpassed by a Yun family driver and was now in 3rd place. However, it was impossible for the 4th place to surpass Qiao Gang. Just when Qiao Gang was confused why Yi Mo still hadn't caught up, he saw Yi Mo's car rushing over like the wind. Of course, Qiao Gang wouldn't fight with Yi Mo and immediately moved aside to let Yi Mo take over. Keep this place, Yi Mo reminded before overtaking Qiao Gang. Yi Mo thought that as long as he could surpass that Yu family driver, the Qiao family would be the first. This was because although the black driver was first, Zhang he couldn't score points anymore. The second was that driver invited by the Yun family. His car skills were good indeed, and didn't slow down even on such curvy roads. Although only one car could pass ahead, it would be very simple for Yi Mo to take over him if he wanted. However, Yi Mo didn't want to do things so absurdly that having 2 wheels hanging in midair and not falling off was out of the ordinary. Despite this driver being very fast, he was still far from Yi Mo, who controlled with his spirit sense. This speed was already very fast for normal people, but from Yi Mo's perspective, this speed was countless times slower than his flying sword. At a slightly wider section of the track, Yi Mo stood the accelerator down to the bottom and immediately surpassed the Yun family driver. Madman, that Yun family driver was a more dangerous terrain racer in Japan, but faced with Yi Mo, who didn't slow down even when turning, he felt this was too crazy. Yi Mo released his flying sword. As soon as he was about to lose control at corners, he would use the flying sword to push. There was still 1/6 of the road, but Yi Mo had already caught up to the black driver. Although the remaining 1/6 of the road was wide, there were no turns. It could be said this last part depended solely on the car itself. One only needed to step the accelerator down to the end. That black racer obviously knew his car's performance was better than Yi Mo's. He drove a modified Ferrari. Plus, Yi Mo had someone in his car. The advantages were obvious. He didn't even need to stop Yi Mo. He only needed to step on his accelerator, and he would win the race. Yi Mo also stood hard on the accelerator and released his flying sword at the same time, making the sword push the back of the car, increasing the speed this way. The black man couldn't believe his Ferrari was slowly being overtaken by Yi Mo's car. He stood on the accelerator while looking at Yi Mo's Mercedes in confusion. A mere modified Mercedes could overtake his Ferrari. This was impossible. He was a racer. He only needed to hear the sound of the Mercedes and knew which generator it used. It couldn't compare with his Ferrari, but how was this Mercedes faster than his car? But no matter how hard he stood on the accelerator and could even feel his car was going to float, Yi Mo's car still surpassed his without hesitation. Just when he wanted to use other means, he found that Yi Mo's car had arrived at the final destination. Yi Mo didn't go down the car and took back his flying sword. After he got off, the first thing he did was to check if Dong Qing was still here. As he expected, she had left. However, Yi Mo wasn't worried. He had his spirit sense mark and would find her sooner or later. Plus, if she was still here, Yi Mo would be bemused. If a hitman didn't even have this sort of sense of vigilance, what sort of hitman was she? There were loud rumbles. The rest of the people had arrived. 8 people took part in the race, and only 5 finished the race. The other 3 crashed. Although things were very cruel, word wouldn't get out. The Yun family's 2 racers got 3rd and 5th, acquiring 10 points in total. The Zhang family had 1 death, and the other got 2nd place. Their total points were 7. Cha family was 0. Chow family got 1st and 4th, totally 13 points, getting 1st in the race. Other than the 1 million, the blood coral belonged to the Chow family. Of course, the 1 million was just for sure. No one would care about this little money. The real prize was that blood coral. Ye brother, I was lucky to have you this time. I was right about you. You actually got 1st. Ha! Let's go. My grandpa really wants to see you. Come to my family. Chow Gang came up, grabbing Yi Mo's head with excitement after hearing the Chow family got 1st. Yi Mo nodded. Okay, let's go to your family and see. If there weren't the blood coral, Yi Mo wouldn't go to the Chow family no matter what. He had a lot of things now, but he needed to make sure if this blood coral was something of the cultivation realm. If it really was what he imagined, he would ask for it from the Chow family. Ooh, Yi Mo's big name was out. Although the Chow family was a family larger than the Yi family, they didn't dare to treat Yi Mo carelessly. They were very polite to him. Although Xiao Zhen didn't come out to greet Yi Mo personally, he still came out during the feast. Mr. Yi, it was really lucky to have you this time. If it wasn't you, the blood coral wouldn't come to our Chow family. Xiao Gang made a good friend this time. Come, Mr. Yi, cheers. Qiao Shengbao seemed to care about the blood coral the most. His eyes were full of excitement. Yi Mo smiled. Just some small things, not to worry. I wonder if I'm able to see this blood coral? Yi Mo didn't really like this Qiao Shengbao. He was too materialistic, so when he spoke, he didn't even have a title for Qiao Shengbao. If he confirmed that the blood coral wasn't what he was looking for, he would leave the Chow family without hesitation. In this Chow family, other than Chow Gang, who he had a good impression, he really didn't give a shit about the others. Chow Shengbao was obviously hesitating. In his eyes, although Yimo's name was out, this blood coral concerned great things. Fourth uncle, it's just having a look. It's no big deal. Chow Gang immediately interrupted. Chow Sheng laughed. Go, bring out the blood coral. Let everyone see. The leader of the family, Old Man Chow, even said this. Chow Shengbao immediately had nothing to say. Although he really didn't want to take out the blood coral, he could only go in and bring it out. As soon as the blood coral came out, there was faint spirit qi circulating it. Although it wasn't thick, Yi Mo immediately knew that his original guess was wrong. This blood coral really was a spirit herb of the cultivation realm, but it also existed on Earth, and even the name was the same. If he had this blood coral, perhaps he could reach stage 4 immediately. Chow Zhang was an old fox. He looked at Yi Mo's eyes and immediately knew that Yi Mo was also into this blood coral. Before Yi Mo said anything, Chow Zhang quickly said, if this blood coral didn't concern the future of our Chow family, it didn't matter if we gave it to you. However, this blood coral could allow 3 of the Chow family members to reach yellow level. So other than the blood coral, Yi friend can bring up any other requests. Yi Mo didn't expect Chow Zhang to talk like this. He didn't even say anything yet, but he immediately replied, Mr. Chow, this blood coral is very useful to me. If the Chow family only need fortune to enter the yellow level, I can help with that. I can provide the pills for 5 Chow family members to reach yellow level and 1 to reach black level. I will use all those to trade for this blood coral. Blasphemy. A cold voice sounded. Chow Gang immediately stood up. Chow Jijun. What's the meaning of this? If Yi brother says he can, then he can. Chow Shengbao sneered and reproached to Chow Jijun. Zijun, Yi Mo is an honored guest of our Chow family. Don't be disrespectful. Then he turned to Yi Mo and said, sorry, blood coral is too important to our Chow family. We can't agree to your request. This is a card to show our gratitude. When he took out the card, Chow Essengbao sneered. This Yi Mo was really full of shit. He dared to think of such an easy way to trick the Chow family's blood coral. Stop dreaming. Taking out pills to reach yellow and black level. He probably thought the whole world was as dumb as him. Yi Mo frowned and said faintly, so, you mean you don't believe that I can take out those pills? Yi Mo frowned and said faintly, so, you mean you don't believe that I can take out those pills? Chow Zheng also frowned. They had dropped a broad hint, and Yi Mo still said something like that. It was crossing the line. Taking out a pill for martial artists to ascend. What a joke. No one would believe Yi Mo could bring out such a thing. Did he think this was some sort of cultivation world? Such arrogance. As expected, Chow Shengbao said, Mr. Yi, you helped our Chow family. We all know you used a lot of efforts, and our family is very grateful. There's 5 million on this card. But to be honest, if it wasn't for the blood coral, we wouldn't even go to the race. As for your trade-off for the blood coral, we all know what it means, so no need to. In that case, never mind. Yi Mo isn't someone who hadn't seen money before. I don't care about a mere few millions. Then Yi Mo took the card and ripped it to pieces. Only a few millions were they giving money to a beggar? He treated Gua Timing's illness. And in return, what he got paid, not mention the map. Only the purple coral was worth at least $1 billion. Now, he helped the Chow family win the blood coral, but they only took out a few millions. This Chow family was really stingy. The 4 customized cars Chow family used were worth at least $10 million. He helped the Chow family win, but they only took out $5 million. To be honest, Yi Mo didn't even know what the Chow family was thinking. If they took our 20 or 30 million, then he would take it. He rubbed the card and stood up saying to Tang Beiwei, Beiwei, let's go. The Qiao family was not only not grateful to him, but also treated him like a liar, giving him only 5 million. This made Yi Mo quite uncomfortable, until seeing Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei disappear from the living room. The people of the Qiao family finally reacted. Humph, he's not polite at all. He was a hilly-billy indeed. They gave him money, and he was still acting up. A mere few million? He acted as though he was very rich. Was 5 million too less for helping with the race? Such greed. And he even wanted our blood coral. Keep dreaming. So shameless. Even if he didn't go, our Qiao family could still win. Qiao Jijun immediately sneered. Qiao Zheng's face was bad. This Yi Mo was too impolite and didn't even take the Qiao family seriously. Giving 5 million was his decision, and this was because he was Yi Mo. He originally planned to only give 3 million. Qiao Zheng wanted to get angry, but thinking about the Song family, he sunk his anger back into his stomach. In his view, Qiao Gang's car skills were the best in the 4 families. Even if they didn't invite Yi Mo and invited another international racer, this race would be fine. And if they invited an international racer, the price would only be a few millions. Big brother, these Qiao family are really clueless. You're giving them more pills, but they're blind. But why didn't you take the money? That was hard-earned. Why not take it? Tang Beiwei was also unhappy that her brother didn't get the blood coral. Yi Mo smiled. The Qiao family was asking for trouble. Even if the blood coral can allow people to reach yellow level, it wouldn't have anything to do with them if they don't have the ability to protect it and let the Qiao family take it from them. Even if the other families got it, trouble would still occur. If they don't have the ability, don't try to eat such a big meal. As for money, a few millions, do they think I've never seen money before? I helped Guo Timing treat his illness. The stone he gave me was more than 1 billion. Tang Beiwei asked confused, Brother, why would the Cha family be fine if they go it? Yi Mo said, Cha family is a semi-hidden family. If they get something, they would store it securely. Now that the Qiao family got it, and the Cha family lost 2 racers, there's no way they wouldn't leak this information to the hidden sect people. However, I will finish the business with Cha family, but just not now. Yi Mo thought of Zhuo Aigua and Qiao Zheng. Before, Zhuo Aigua felt that the purple heart vine was useful to Yi Mo, and gave it to him without hesitation, and at that time, Yi Mo didn't show his abilities at all. The results showed that Zhuo Aigua was right, and he was compensated more. Compared to Zhuo Aigua, Qiao Zheng was too short-sighted. Yi brother, wait for me. Qiao Gang ran here breathing heavily. After catching up to Yi Mo, he said, Sorry, Yi brother, I'm really sorry about this. Grandpa and the others don't believe you. I really... Yi Mo waved his hand and said, Young Master Qiao, it's already over. No need to talk about it. Plus, you can see it as me helping you. Don't worry about the other things. But I need to remind you that although the blood coral is useful to me, I'm also asking for it, for the benefit of your family. It's no good for you family holding the blood coral. Qiao Gang dazed and said stutteringly, Yi brother, you're going to attack our family? Yi Mo smiled. Young Master Qiao, you think too little of me, Yi Mo. I'm not concerned about a mere blood coral. Plus, even if I ate a pill that would make me a god, I still have my principle of doing things. Just looking at our connection, I wouldn't attack the Qiao family. However, just because I won't do something doesn't mean other people won't. I suggest you go out and hide for a while. Yi brother, if you don't attack, our Qiao family is at least a big family. Under the current society, can someone come into our house and rob us? Qiao Gang asked confused. Yi Mo shook his head. There are too much things you don't understand. That Cha family is a semi-hidden family. They can contact the hidden sects directly. If your Qiao family don't even know about the hidden sects, then pretend I never said anything. I've already given you a reminder. How you deal with it is your family's business. Thank you, brother. Other people don't know about your abilities, but I definitely believe you. But my grandpa doesn't believe me, sigh. Qiao Gang said helplessly, It's fine, by the way. Do you know where the blood coral was found? Yi Mo asked casually. Qiao Gang didn't hide anything about this, and said, At a place near the borders, there's a place called the Horn Strait. It's near the Southern Sea. At that time, I went with a few friends from the other families to go race there, and found this blood coral washed up on the beach. Okay, thank you, we'll meet in time. Then Yi Mo waved goodbye to Qiao Gang and took Tang Beiwei and left the Qiao family. After a long time of silence, Qiao Gang went back to the Qiao family and decided to tell what Yi Mo said to Grandpa. Blasphemy. As soon as he heard Qiao Gang's words, Qiao Zheng slammed the table and stared at Qiao Gang and said, Although this Yi Mo isn't bad, he's too stingy. You should have less contact with him. This is a peaceful time. Do you think it's warring era? You believe robbery of homes. I think you're out of your mind. Jijun is performing better than you in many places, and you need to stay in the family and get some rest. Qiao Gang didn't expect that his grandpa would reproach him, but Grandpa's words also seemed reasonable. He turned around and immediately saw Qiao Jijun's evil smile. He immediately felt angry, but also knew his grandpa's authority and didn't dare to argue. Brother, are we going to Beijing now? Tang Beiwei wanted to see her mother. Yi Mo sighed. Going to Beijing meant he had to kill people. Killing people would make Tang Beiwei's mother sad. This was quite complicated. Thinking about this, Yi Mo could only say, let's go to Ninghai and see Qingxue first. After going to Ninghai, we'll go to Beijing. Tang Beiwei didn't ask why, but she could tell Yi Mo wasn't in a good mood. After a while, she said, Is Qingshue's sister my sister-in-law? By the way, brother, do you like Qingshue's sister or Luoying's sister? Although Tang Beiwei had seen neither of them, Yi Mo told her about them. Yi Mo dazed. Although he never hid anything about Luoying and Qingxue, he really didn't know how to answer this question now that he was being put on the spot. To be honest, I feel that, brother, you're so excellent. It's fine, even if you have 2 wives. Tang Beiwei realized Yi Mo's hardship and said, Yi Mo felt his chin helplessly. I think I like them both, but you're my sister. You would want me to get as much wives as possible. In other words, would you want to marry someone who will get 2 wives? Sigh. Yi Mo didn't even get to tell Luoying about Qingxue before Luoying left. Although he had the thought of what Tang Beiwei suggested, this wasn't something he could decide. Qingxue was fine, after all. Last time, she had already expressed she didn't mind being with Luoying, but what about Luoying? Yi Mo had no confidence at all. If that person had as much ability as brother, then I don't mind, Tang Beiwei said immediately, but in her heart, of course she cared. She just wanted to comfort her brother. Although he didn't notice that Tang Beiwei was trying to comfort him, Yi Mo felt that love was irrelevant to power. Did that mean someone with great power could have lots of love? This reasoning was too absurd. His love for Luoying was really love from life to death. There was nothing in it. As for Ning Qingxue, although Yi Mo had no feelings for her originally, the things Ning Qingshu did for him gradually made him like this girl. If it was just gratitude, Yi Mo wouldn't fall in love with Ning Qingxue. But those few days the two were together, Yi Mo had changed his opinion of Ning Qingshu and accepted her slowly at the same time. Although his love for Ning Qingshu was different to his love for Luoying, they both came from the bottom of his heart, and there was nothing else inside. When Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei to Ninghai, it was already midday on the second day. When Yi Mo brought Tang Beiwei to Ninghai, it was already midday on the second day. Before they reached the small yard, Yi Mo felt something was wrong. Ning Qingxue said she was waiting for him here, and he believed her. However, Ning Qingxue actually wasn't in this yard. Yi Mo and Tang Beiwei pushed open the door. The flower pots were still there, but the silver heart grasses were all dead except for one. He got someone to send them back here for Ning Qingxue to look after. The only one alive was also quite wilted. That one was the one Ning Qingxue looked after and spilt her blood on. What was going on? Yi Mo wanted to ask Su Wei, but found out that Su Wei also wasn't here. However, there were still Su Wei's clothes hanging out in the garden. It seemed that Su Wei hadn't left yet. Brother, is Qingshua's sister not here? Tang Beiwei also felt something wasn't right and subconsciously asked. Yi Mo shook his head. He didn't know why Ning Qingxue wasn't here, but her firm words from before were still by his ears. I will wait for you at Ninghai. Although it was a few plain words, Mo believed Ning Qingxue said what she wanted. Before she waited till his arrival, she wouldn't leave. For this, Yi Mo didn't doubt it at all, but now, Ning Qingxue wasn't here. Yi Mo carefully checked the silver heart grass that hadn't died, but found it wasn't due to lack of care. What was this? Su Wei just pushed the door open and saw Yi Mo standing by the flower pot. When she saw Tang Beiwei, she couldn't help to sigh. Yi Mo was really a womanizer. Not only did he know a lot of women, but none of them was ugly. She was probably the uglier one, or perhaps she could only compare with Li Mumei. Su Wei, you're back? Where's Qingxue? The first thing Yi Mo asked seeing Su Wei was about Ning Qingxue. Su Wei's eyes went red, and immediately told everything that had happened to Yi Mo. Then, she said, after Qingxue had recovered, she was taken to Yu State by her family and never came back. But after Qingxue left, no matter how I took care of these silver heart grasses, they were wilted and many had died. Only that tallest one is barely living. Ning Qingshu was actually almost beaten to death. Yi Mo's fury immediately erupted. Who had such balls? It seemed he was too kind. Last time the Song family attacked Ning Qingxue, he hadn't even had time to annihilate the Song family, but now other people were also attacking Ning Qingxue. A strong killing intent emanated from Yi Mo's body. Even Su Wei and Tang Beiwei on the side took steps back subconsciously. Tang Beiwei looked at Yi Mo's bloodshot eyes and called out anxiously, "Brother!" Yi Mo came to his senses and howled to the sky, regardless if it's Earth Fiend or others who hurt Ning Qingxue. Yi Mo, swear, I will annihilate you in my life. From Yi Mo's perspective, Earth Fiend had the greatest suspicion. He just had enmity with this organization, and this thing happened. He couldn't tolerate it. Not right. Even if this happened, Qingxue wouldn't leave Ninghai after she had recovered. Yi Mo knew Ning Qingxue. She wouldn't give up waiting for him in Ninghai for that. Su Wei, you said Qingxue's wounds have recovered, and she left Ninghai? Yi Mo calmed down and immediately realized that was suspicious. Xue was quite scared by Yi Mo, and now just slowly recovered. Then she said, yes, her wounds have fully healed, but what? Yi Mo frowned and asked. Su Wei looked carefully at Yi Mo and said because her head was injured, although she had completely recovered, she forgot what had happened this year. It means that memories recovered to the point 1 year ago. She didn't even know me, but she remembered everything clearly from 1 year ago, and... Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. However, he believed he could cure her. Although head injuries couldn't even necessarily be healed with Lotus Life Seed, it wasn't a serious problem. Even if he couldn't, he would just tell her what had happened in this year. After all, she just lost some memories. And what? Thinking about this, Yi Mo felt a little relieved. Su Wei sighed and said, Qingxue lost this year's memory, but her parents were instead happy. She went back to Yu State listening to her parents. Qingshue's sister didn't mention you at all, and her parents didn't allow anyone to mention you. Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart ached. If her parents really didn't like him, even if he went to Yu State, he won't necessarily be able to see Qingxue. He thought about Ning Qingxue venturing dangerously into the Shen Nongjia just to find him, and he yearned for her more. That was when he knew that he was this important in Ning Qingxue's heart. No, he had to go see her even if her parents stopped him. He would go see her. Sorry, Qingshu, it was my fault you were hurt this time. As though feeling the intense emotions in her brother's heart, Tang Beiwei subconsciously grabbed her brother's hands and called, "Brother!" Yi Mo sighed and caressed the silver heart grass that Ning Qingxue took care of. Softness surged in his heart. That silver heart grass seemed to have felt Wai Emo's caress and seemed a little more lively. Xu Wei and Tang Bu didn't interrupt Yi Mo, who had sunk into memories. They just looked at him fearing that he would do something crazy. After long, Yi Mo looked up and asked Su Wei, what did the attacker look like? Xu Wei immediately said it was a young Taoist at first, and then came an old Taoist. That young Taoist was very lecherous and said he was going to take Qingxue away. Qingxue ignored him, and he attacked. That young Taoist had a shield-shaped jade ornament on his belt, and it seemed to have the words Tai Yi. Tai Yi. Yi Mo repeated and frowned. Was it a hidden sect? It was very rare for people from the hidden sect to come to the cities of the mortal world, but it didn't matter. He would go ask Zhang Zhiwei. Su Wei, I will go see Qingxue. Please help me take care of this silver heart grass for a while. Yi Mo looked at the bloodied silver heart grass and felt his uneasiness in his chest. He was going to slaughter, challenging him again and again. It was either his sister or the people around him. Su Wei rolled her eyes. On Yi Mo, I know, I'm going to charge a salary next time. You two only know to let me take care of this and that. Su Wei heard Tang Beiwei call Yi Mo brother, and immediately knew this pretty girl was Yi Mo's sister and not lover. However, her skin was really good. Yi Mo went back to the room. It was tidied very well. The small case he left to Ning Qingxue was carefully put on the head of the bed. Even the tools he used to produce pills were wiped clean, placed on a small metal rack. It was obvious that Ning Qingxue cared a lot about Yi Mo's things. Yi Mo sat on the bed Ning Qingshu slept on. There were a few books about transplants. Yi Mo dazed. He seemed to see Ning Qingxue sit on the bed and read these books every night, and then wait for him to come back. Qingxue, no matter who attacked you, I won't let them go. Yi Mo murmured. He suddenly felt he was all alone by himself. If he had a power faction, he wouldn't need to send Beiwei away, or even worry about the safety of the people around him. Power, power. I will establish the greatest power on earth. Since I can't cultivate to a high state here, I will use my power to create the greatest power. I want something that can disintegrate Earth Fiend with one word. In that instance, Yi Mo had the impulse to howl to the heavens again. Beiwei, I will send you to a place. After I'm done with the things outside, I will come back to pick you up. Yi Mo calmed down and said, once he made up his mind, he wouldn't change it. It was as he said, no matter who it was, they would have to pay. After these things were done, he would form his own power. Tang Beiwei knew what her brother thought, and knew she was only a burden following him around now. Wuliang Mountain. It wasn't their first time here. Although Tang Beiwei knew that her brother would take her to some place safe, but she didn't expect him to take her here. Yi Mo carried Tang Beiwei on his back and ran very rapidly on the mountain. He was going to start to fight with Earth Fiend soon. He must have no concerns, so he needed to send Tang Beiwei away. Serenity was the best choice. Beiwei, after you arrive at Serenity, remember to cultivate what I taught you. If you really can't cultivate it, you can learn with Jing Xian and their stuff, but remember not to tell anyone what I taught you. Yi Mo said. Tang Beiwei felt very warm at heart. This was kinship. Her brother really gave her everything he had. She made up her mind in her heart. Brother, don't worry, I will work here and try to not be cumbersome to you. Tang Beiwei really did make up her mind. If she had her brother's powers today, she wouldn't need to hide everywhere, and could even help her brother. Pack those fireball charms away carefully. Don't take them out unless it's a life or death situation. Yi Mo was worried about Tang Beiwei's safety and gave her more than 100 fireball charms. These fireball's charms weren't so useful to Yi Mo, although they were good to use, but it cost too much time to use them, and their power to Yi Mo was just so-so. It could be used against Earth-level martial artists, but it was barely life-threatening for tertiary stage Earth levels. It really didn't have much use, but it was good for self-defense for Tang Beiwei. Brother, I didn't think there would be people living here. Although Tang Beiwei was on Yi Mo's back, she was quite scared when Yi Mo jumped off the cliff. When she saw the road, she was more astonished. Brother, I didn't think there would be people living here. Although Tang Beiwei was on Yi Mo's back, she was quite scared when Yi Mo jumped off the cliff. When she saw the road, she was more astonished. Yi Mo nodded and said, "Those sects don't like the boisterous mortal world, and these sort of places are more suited for cultivation. Was what you taught me that day also ancient martial arts? How come there weren't any martial arts moves?" Tang Beiwei asked curiously. Yi Mo said seriously, "What I taught you wasn't ancient martial arts, but something thousands of times more precious than it. You mustn't show it in front of others or tell anyone." As Yi Mo introduced, Tang Beiwei gradually knew a little more about the hidden sections. The two talked as they walked and had arrived at Serenity. Although the sect master didn't say it, she was quite grateful to Yi Mo. If Yi Mo didn't remove Jingxi, she wouldn't even be able to control Serenity. After Yi Mo killed Jingxi, Serenity was no longer flailing like before. No matter what Jingxian thought, she would have never expected Yi Mo to come to Serenity a second time and bring a very beautiful girl. "Grand Jingxian, this is my sister Tang Beiwei. Because I still have some businesses unresolved, I want to let me sister stay at your place for some time." Yi Mo had a request and didn't dare to be rude in front of Jingxian. Jingxian looked at Tang Beiwei in surprise and then said, "Mr. Yi, this is the sister you said you've lost for more than 20 years. Yi Mo bowed and said, "Yes, my sister will live here for a while. When I come next time, there will be repayment." Jingxian sighed. "Since it's your sister, then no need to talk about repayment. It's just a pity on Susu. If only you brought her here earlier." Yi Mo's heart was melancholic. He understood what Jingxian meant. He left his sister at Serenity, also because he wanted to wait for Luo Ying to come back. After all that, the first thing Yi Mo did was to go to Yu State. He was going to see Ning Qingshuo. No matter if he could cure her or not, he would still go. Ning Qingshuo's father, Ning Zhongfei, was quite decisive and left the Ning family resolutely for Ning Qingshuo. With his strong connections and capable business mind, he established a new pharmaceutical company in the short span of a year. In Yu State, Ning family was a wealthy family. As soon as Yi Mo got to Yu State, he didn't spend much time to know that not only did Ning Qingshuo recover physically, but was being the manager of Ning Zhongfei's business. The business was at the tallest skyscraper building at Yu State, and it was very easy for Yi Mo to find it. The building didn't belong to Ning Zhongfei yet, and his company only rented 2 levels of the building. Yi Mo didn't receive much questioning and went upstairs. However, the girl in reception stopped Yi Mo. "Sir, may I ask who you're looking for?" The girl was quite pretty and very polite. "I'm looking for Ning Qingshuo. May I ask, is she here?" Thinking about how he was about to meet Ning Qingshuo, Yi Mo was a bit excited. He didn't know if the exact situation was as what Su Wei said, but if it really was, then what would he do if he couldn't cure her? The girl showed a professional smile, but didn't call and ask for permission. She asked again politely, "Sir, did you make an appointment?" "No." Yi Mo shook his head subconsciously. He never thought that he wouldn't be able to see Ning Qingshuo. The front desk girl smiled apologetically. Then I'm sorry, sir. I can't report in clients without appointments. The front desk girl's sweet smile made Yemo unable to get angry, but he didn't have a way to make the girl report in. Just when he was wondering if he should use invisibility to go in and see Ning Qingxue, there was a clanking of high heels on the ground. CEO Lan, Manager Li. The girl saw the two and greeted politely. Yemo turned around and saw someone familiar. It was Li Mumei. He was happy immediately and quickly said, Li Mumei, I'm Yemo. I came to see Ning Qingxue this time. Yemo stopped his words. He felt the atmosphere wasn't right, and Li Mumei's looks at him seemed a little weird, as though she wanted to say something. Meanwhile, the woman beside Li Mumei frowned. CEO Lan? Was it Ning Qingxue's mother Lan Yu? This meant that this CEO Lan was his future mother-in-law. Yemo felt a little awkward and walked up and said, Hello, Ani. I'm Yemo. I came to see Qingxue. The woman still frowned, but Yemo said that already, so she could only reply, Do you know me? I've heard Qingxue mention you. I believe you're Qingxue's mother, right? Yemo didn't dare to be careless in front of Qingxue's mother. Seeing Li Mumei wanting to say something and Lan Yu frowning, Yemo felt things weren't right, and the scene sunk into silence. After a long while, Lan Yu said, Since you're Yemo, come in and let's have a talk, Sai. Then Lan Yu walked in, and Li Mumei gave Yemo a sympathetic look and also followed in. Yemo followed the two into the office, helplessly. Li Mumei went and made 2 cups of tea, and then left closing the door. Yemo, I know you're someone with power, but... Lan Yu paused as though trying to organize her words and said after a while, Qingxue is my only daughter, and she is my treasure. Her dad, and I won't be able to tolerate any harm to her. We worked so hard just for Qingxue's future. Yemo sighed and said, Ani, don't beat about the bush. Although I'm emotional, I have done things that I won't regret. I like Qingxue, but I'm not liking her for her wealth. Lan Yu nodded and said, In that case, I'll be straightforward. Of course, I know you won't care about the little wealth our Ning family has, but we care about our daughter. Ever since Qingxue knew you, she's been heavily injured twice. We almost lost our daughter. This was all because of you. This time, Qingxue was rammed by a car and sent to the hospital. She was announced dead, but perhaps the heavens pitied us, and Qingxue actually came back alive the second day. Speaking to hear, Lan Yu rubbed her eyes. Yemo saw this and sighed. He didn't blame Lan Yu. He only had respect for a mother like this, and he knew why Qingxue would come back alive. It was because she only fainted on the spot. This was all due to the necklace he made for her. It was made from precious materials and inscribed with many formations. Although spirit chi would be consumed while used for defense, after a while, it would replenish. Qingxue could wake the second day because, after replenishment, the necklace recovered her life force. Looking at Yemo, who was in silence, Lan Yu said again, Ever since Qingxue met you, not only did she not want to come back to you state and always stayed at Ninghai, it was also said that she went to Flowing Snake and the desert once all by herself. After 2 near-death experiences, her dad, and I can no longer handle this. This time when Qingxue woke up, the heavens pitied us, and she actually lost a year of memory. Her memory is at the time before she met you. So, Yemo, please, we beg you, let her live a peaceful life. Then Lan Yu looked hopefully at Yemo. She wanted Yemo to take pity on the heart of parents and not get close to her daughter again. She didn't know that Ning Qingxue also went to Shin Nongjia. Otherwise, she would be even more concerned. Yemo really wanted to fulfill Lan Yu's love for her daughter, but he couldn't. Not only did Ning Qingxue love him, but he also loved Ning Qingxue. He had no hesitation and shook his head slowly. Yemo, why are you doing this? We beg you, let our Qingxue go. Then Lan Yu actually knelt down. Yemo was dazed. He didn't expect Lan Yu to do this. At that moment, he felt his heart ache as though something precious was going to leave him. "Mum, you—" The office door was opened, and Ning Qingxue in a pale yellow dress stood at the door like a goddess. She looked dazedly at Lan Yu, who knelt on the ground, and then moved her gaze upon Yi Mo. But soon she reacted and rushed over to help Lan Yu up. She turned around with a face of anger and looked at Yi Mo and asked, "Who are you? What do you want?" Yi Mo opened his mouth but couldn't say a word. If Lan Yu telling him to leave Ning Qingxue made his heart ache, then Ning Qingshue's words now made his heart bleed. He knew that Ning Qingxue lost a years of memory, but his heart suddenly felt empty. That emptiness he could no accept. "Qingxue, I'm Yi Mo. I know." He was interrupted by Ning Qingshu before he finished. She frowned and said, "Yi Mo, the engagement was determined by our previous generation. You are you and I am I. Why are you coming for me? I don't want you to come to my parents." "But, Qingxue, did you not know you lost a year's memory?" Yi Mo said desperately. Ning Qingshue's eyes frowned more and looked at Yi Mo with disgust. "Qingxue isn't something you can call. I know you're the young master of the Yi family, but that has nothing to do with me. Plus, I lost my memory, but what's that got to do with you? Is there any use for you to force my mother? Please leave." Lan Yu heard Ning Qingshue's words and turned around, saying apologetically to Yi Mo, "You can chat with Qingxue for a while, but don't force her to do something she doesn't want. I don't want my daughter to be coerced. I'll go out first." Lan Yu heard Ning Qingshue's words and turned around, saying apologetically to Yi Mo, "You can chat with Qingxue for a while, but don't force her to do something she doesn't want. I don't want my daughter to be coerced. I'll go out first." Then Lan Yu walked out of the office. She really didn't want Yi Mo to have contact with Ning Qingxue, but if she didn't give Ning Qingxue this chance, she would feel very uncomfortable and feel sorry to Qingxue. "Qingxue, the memory you have lost is the memory with me this year. I want to help you see if you can be treated and recover your lost memory." Yi Mo said softly. Ning Qingxue already had some slight anger on her face. She didn't understand why her mother would let her face Yi Mo alone. She had memories with this human trash? Keep dreaming. "Yi Mo, I know you have been kicked out of the Yi family, and you feel very bad, but I'm telling you now, my dad also separated from the Ning family in Beijing. We have no connections at all. What era is it now? Stop holding the worlds of our grandpas. I feel this is really pointless." Ning Qingxue said disgustedly. As though seeing Yi Mo's face was looking bad, Ning Qingxue sneered and continued, "Young Master Yi, I have memories with you? Do you think this is possible? Plus, even if I do have some memories with you, I don't want to recover them. I don't want anything to do with you. Okay?" Yi Mo's face became pale, but he still didn't blame Ning Qingxue. He knew that a year before, Ning Qingshu detested him to the greatest extent. "Qingxue, if you believe me, let me treat you. If you have recovered your memories, I think you will understand." Yi Mo stood up and walked forward a few steps. Ning Qingxue immediately took a few steps back and said, "Don't come over. If you do, I will call the police. And I don't need you to treat me. And I don't trust you either. I know very well what sort of person you are. I don't need my memories to understand you. Qingxue, but you made me love you. You said you will wait for me to come back. Why are things like this?" Yi Mo's face became increasingly pale. He had never experienced love and had never felt what it was like for the person he loved to leave him. Ning Qingxue looked coldly at Yi Mo. After hearing him out, she then said, "Yi Mo, don't be mushy. You have finished what you needed to say. Now you can go. I know that the 1 year I was with you, and you like me. Is that fine? Oh, and that year, I also fell in love with you. Okay, I know it all. Now can you please leave?" "So this is what losing feels like," Yi Mo murmured. His body was wobbly. He was emotional and never would have thought the one he loved would leave him. Luo Ing left him due to misunderstanding, but Nixu didn't even want to listen to him, nor let him touch her. He didn't want to force her. Plus, even if he treated her, he might not be able to get her memories back. He had this burning sensation in his heart that made him hard to breath. Why were things like this? Why? After a long while, Mo took out a face-preserving pill and a few golden needles and said, "I brought this face-preserving pill over just for you, and I want to help you see if you can recover your memories." Ning Qingshue's face was frost-like, and she said coldly, "Treatment is unnecessary. And face-preserving pill? Okay, I'll eat it." Ning Qingxue took the pill and ate it then. She said, "Mo, I've eaten the pill. Go, I beg you, don't try these tricks on me." Mo felt more and more depressed. He picked up the golden needle and still wanted to say something, but Ning Qingshu immediately said, "Piss off." PSH, Mo finally couldn't hold the despair and pain in his heart and spat out a mouth of blood on the office desk. After spitting out the blood, he actually felt more relived. His mental state reached a new level. Since she wasn't his, why force it? At that moment, he seemed to have opened up and understood a lot and wanted to howl. This was the frustration of recently being hunted, Luo Ing and Beiwei's things. With the thing with Ning Qingxue, it made his heart feel clumped. After spitting out the clotting blood, he felt very relieved and felt if he had any spirit grass now, he could immediately reach stage for qi gathering. Mo sighed. The Buddha says, everything is so due to fate, starting from the begging to the end of fate. Everything is so. Perhaps he could keep that love in his heart and treat it as past memories, no longer necessary to flip out again. Perhaps this was what it meant to be positive. Mo's mental state calmed down and packed away the golden needles, returning to his original composure. Ning Qingxue saw the blood stain and actually felt pain in her heart. But this feeling was very strange. She could only draw the conclusion that this Mo was immature. She never said she had any relationship with Mo, and she would never marry such a human trash. Lan Yu pushed the door open and rushed in. She saw the blood on the table and immediately said aggressively to Mo, "Mo, can we drop this? Leave, never come back to our Ning family." She thought Mo made her daughter spew blood and couldn't keep calm. "I'm standing at your Ning family's place?" Mo was calm, and his tone was very bland. He actually wasn't very angry. He didn't blame Lan Yu nor Ning Qingshu. They had their lives, and so did he. "That's right, where you're standing. Leave immediately. Even the patch outside the front door belongs to us. Our family doesn't welcome you." Lan Yu was worried about her daughter and wasn't going to be polite with Mo anymore. She even sounded a little childish. Mo smiled calmly. "Oh, does the sky outside also belong to your family?" Then, Mo no longer wanted to say anything. Before Lan Yu replied, he took a step outside the window and disappeared. Lan Yu and Ning Qingxue dazed for a good few seconds before coming to their senses. Mo actually couldn't handle the trauma and jumped off the building. Although Ning Qingxue looked down on Mo, she was still very worried about Mo jumping off. This was the 8th floor. He wouldn't be alive after jumping off. She rushed over to the windows and looked down. There was no trace of him. "Mom, don't call yet." Lan Yu was stumbling to call the police, but was stopped by Ning Qingxue. "What's wrong, Qingxue?" "Lan Yu, calm down." Ning Qingxue breathed easy and looked down before saying, "He's quite capable. There's no trace of him at the bottom, and he probably climbed down the pipes and left." "Qingxue, did you spit the blood here?" Lan Yu finally reacted now. Ning Qingxue shook her head. "No, it's Mo. He probably had some sort of trauma." Sigh. "He's quite pitiful, actually. Abandoned by the Yi family, but still not unenterprising." "Huh." Lan Yu stared straight at the blood stain. Ning Qingxue didn't know, but she knew all too well. Suddenly, she felt that she did this thing very wrongly. After long, Lan Yu sighed. Let the past be. Qingxue had her own life, and Yi Mo had his new life. Qingxue didn't remember the days with Yi Mo, and that was why she felt Yi Mo was pitiful. But Lan Yu was all too clear about Yi Mo's power in Beijing. Mum, my heart is aching. I want to go back and rest for a few days. Ning Qingxue felt her heart pulsing with pain. She had never had such knitted. What's happening today? Lan Yu had a sliver of worry flash across her eyes and quickly replied, Okay, let Mame rest with you for a few days. Don't worry about the company. There's your dad, and I here. Ooh. After Yi Mo left Yu State, his mood was down, but his mental state broke through again. Now he had dropped the sadness. Pursuing cultivation and long life was his path. He was to go to the Song family next and finish things up, then he would immediately try to go for stage 4. After he was stage 4, it would be time for him to get revenge against Earth Fiend, and time when he established his own power. No matter for himself or the people around him, he needed a strong power to provide protection. His cultivation also required large amounts of money. With money, he could make all sorts of pills and make money faster. However, with more money, he also needed power to protect it. Before going to Beijing, Yi Mo stopped by Ning Hai to look at that silver heart grass. It seemed to have gained some life force. Su Wei hadn't finished work yet, and he didn't wait for her. Su Wei was very meticulous. She would do well what she promised. Next time when he came back, he wouldn't mind giving her a face-preserving pill. As for Yun Bing, Yi Mo didn't go to see her. He was originally planning to go to the university and ask about Shi Xiao, but he had already graduated, and if he were to go to ask about him in Ning Hai University, perhaps he would see Yun Bing. Ever since the issue with Ning Qingxue, Yi Mo's heart had been rejective of staying alone with women. Beijing Song family. Beijing Song family. Contrary to Song Yuanyi and Song Qiming's expectation, the incident at Wuliang Mountain had been past a few months, and now Yi Mo still came to Song family to look for trouble. Did they think wrong? If Yi Mo really didn't dare to come to the Song family, should they get the Song family people to come back to Beijing? Perhaps Yi Mo didn't know the identity of Song Hai and them. The Song family didn't have the power to face off with Yi Mo, so they could only resist for now. Now, the Song family mansion was not near as busy and populated as before. Other than Song Yuanyi and Song Qiming, there was only Song Qishan. There were originally some third-generation people here, but after Song Hai disappeared, these people were sent away by Song Qiming. Tang Jing felt really fortunate recently. Although Song Qiming wronged her before due to some reasons, he still never forgot about her. Before she died, he came and found her and gave her the warmness and love she had longed for many years. Although before, all she had in her heart was hatred for Song Qiming, seeing Song Qiming kneel down before her and beg for her forgiveness, her heart had already forgiven him. It didn't matter that she suffered so much all these years. At least Qiming came back. Although Beiwei didn't want to come with her to Beijing, Qiming said that he wouldn't let anything happen to Beiwei. Tang Jing had no doubt of Song Qiming's words. Although she still didn't go do surgery, her body was recovering gradually. Her face even looked healthier. Thinking that Song Qiming was with her every day, she felt this joy at the bottom of her heart. Her years of longing and hope finally had a resolution she wanted. She didn't mind if Song Qiming was rich or powerful. In her heart, she only wanted to be with him, and that would be the greatest joy of life. Sometimes, Qiming would even sit with her for an entire night without any requests. He just sat with her like those years ago. Tang Jing knew that Qiming wouldn't come today because he said he had a lot of work and would come back late. So she made him some lotus soup. She didn't want him to work too hard. She still had a surprise for Qiming. It was that she could walk now. Song Qiming's office usually didn't allow others to come in, but he told her that others didn't include her. No one could replace her in his mind. He missed her for 20 years and didn't want to spend the rest of his life regretting. So, Tang Jing didn't mind that Song Qiming's office didn't allow others to come in. And now, there was barely anyone in the Song family mansion, so no one cared about this. What made Tang Jing disappointed was that when she came to Song Qiming's place, she noticed the second floor's lights were off. That meant that Song Qiming hadn't come back yet. There was the sound of car rumble that drove into the room. The car didn't stop at the outer garden but drove straight in. Tang Jing knew that Song Qiming came back. Her heart rejoiced and wanted to bring the lotus soup over, but she saw two people get off the car and stopped herself in her tracks. Song Qiming got out, but there was also another young girl. The two seemed quite intimate, and the girl was holding Song Qiming's arms. Didn't he tell her that he was divorced? And even if he didn't, this woman was not much older than Bei Wei. Tang Jing suddenly felt her hands shaky. She didn't mind Song Qiming bringing back a girl, but she cared that Song Qiming lied to her. Song Qiming and that girl had walked under the office and were hugged together. There was the sound of hookup and seductive moans. Tang Jing didn't believe this was the Song Qiming who stayed with her every night before. She was deeply disappointed but didn't hate Song Qiming. Perhaps her body wasn't well and she couldn't stay with him. That's why he was acting like this. "Let's go upstairs." Song Qiming finally gasped and squished the girl's boobs and said, "MNHM, is that old woman still in the house? She's really annoying." The woman's voice sounded very sulky and was obviously unhappy. Song Qiming sighed, "I have no choice. Our Song family is being threatened too much by that Yemo. She's Tang Beiwei's mother. I took her over just so that Yemo would have some concern. Originally, I thought that according to Yemo's personality, he might quite possibly not do anything to the Song family due to Tang Beiwei's mother, but I think we've thought too much. He's by himself, and he doesn't dare to do anything to the Song family, no matter how strong he is. As for Tang Jing, let her be. Our Song family can still afford to feed a useless person." The woman gasped into laughter. "Treating your old lover like a dog to feed. What old lover? Don't discuss me. Perhaps I would be interested in her 20 years ago, but now it's the hardest time of my life each night I talk to her. Sigh, don't worry about her. I just didn't expect her daughter to be Yi Mo's sister. She's really lucky. Otherwise, why would I even care about her?" Song Qiming seemed to have thought of Tang Jing's looks and frowned. That woman laughed again. "I heard that Tang Beiwei is a real beauty. You must be interested in her. How come you don't seem yourself when you talk about her?" Song Qiming smiled. "Pity, she's Yemo's sister. Our Song family shouldn't mess with him anymore. Be gentle. I know you're interested in that girl. You even dare to fuck me." The woman called, and then her mouth seemed to be blocked by something. After a long while, she gasped and said, "Of course I wouldn't mind about that Tang Jing. Who I care about is the tigress of your family. To be honest, I still need to thank that Yemo. If it wasn't for him, how could you send away that tigress? How do we dare to do this here? Aha." She only spoke half the sentence, and her mouth seemed to have been blocked by something. At the corner, Tang Jing's hands and feet went cold. The bowl of lotus soup fell on the grass, but she didn't seem to notice at all. The person who asked for forgiveness in front of her was this sort of person. She suddenly felt that all the power of her body was going to leave her. Yemo sighed. He originally came here to kill the Song family people, but he saw this scene. He couldn't help but to feel sad for Tang Beiwei's mother, falling in love with such a man. Did she really not know what Song Qiming really was like? Did she really believe everything Song Qiming said? Yemo didn't believe it. Tang Jing was just cheating herself. Perhaps she knew she didn't have long to live, so she wanted to die with happiness, not a life of losing hope. Sometimes there is no reason for love. Yemo thought of Luo Wing. Would his love for her change because of anything else? He believed that Luo Ing wouldn't betray him, but if she did, Yi Emo asked himself and found that he would still like her just like how he loved Ning Qingxue. Ning Qingxue was so indifferent to him, but he didn't blame her, nor did he resent her. He just enveloped that love and left it untouched. Perhaps this was what Tang Jing was like to Song Qiming. Even though she knew that Song Qiming was tricking her, she would still rather cheat herself, but now she could no longer do that. Yi Emo believed that she must have regretted coming out to see this scene and hearing those words. Yi Emo saw Song Qiming carry that girl, and the two rustled upstairs. Meanwhile, Tang Jing spat out a mouthful of blood after a long while. Then she stood up slowly. She actually looked at Song Qiming wistfully before leaving. Looking at Tang Jing's weak body like a small leaf in the frosty wind, Yi Emo actually felt uncomfortable. Why did she have to love such a man? But he couldn't help her at all, and he knew that if he killed Song Qiming today, and Tang Jing knew tomorrow, she will be very sad. However, even so, he would still kill Song Qiming. From today on, he wouldn't let himself into trouble due to being soft on his enemies. He had to kill Song Qiming. However, after things here were done, he would take Tang Jing to live with Tang Beiwei. The light beside the bedroom lit up. Song Qiming and that girl were already rolling together. That girl's clothes were completely ripped apart, revealing two busty white rabbits. Song Qiming's two hands already started rubbing and squishing. At the same time, he was also trying to take off the clothes on himself. That woman seemed thirstier than Song Qiming, and had flipped on top of Song Qiming more than once. Yi Emo respected Song Qiming's stamina. He was in his 50s to 60s, but he still had so much energy. Yi Emo raised his hand, and a gust of wind shot out. That voracious woman was knocked out cold on the bed. Song Qiming didn't even notice it at all until the woman stopped moving. "Xiao Yu," Song Qiming called out worriedly. "You don't need to call. I've already knocked her out." Yimo's cold voice sounded. Song Qiming's body shook and suddenly turned around. Under the dim yellow light, Yimo's figure stood by the doorway. Song Qiming was covered in cold sweat. After a long while, he asked, Who are you?" "I'm getting some payback," Yi Emo said, and a curved sword suddenly appeared in his hands. "I'm getting some payback," Yi Emo said, and a curved sword suddenly appeared in his hands. Song Qiming looked at Yi Emo, not knowing where his curved sword appeared from. But immediately he reacted and said in a shaky voice, You are Yi Emo? That's right. You're very smart. You know you owe me. It's just that I've been busy lately and only had time for this today." Yimo's voice was very cold. Song Qiming was the leader of a family. Although he was very worried, he soon forced himself to calm down. "Young Master Yi, the thing between our family and you is a complete misunderstanding. Although it's a misunderstanding, I've completely dispersed the Song family to show my apology to you. If you can let the Song family go once, I'm willing to swear that from today on, our Song family will just be a dog of yours." "What a big misunderstanding," Yi Emo sneered. "I'm not someone who exterminates. I've let your Song family go on more than one occasion, but you challenged my bottom line. You dare to harm even Qingxue and Beiwei. You even made my sister harm me. I'll let you die with a clear mind. But don't worry, those vermin breed of you Song family, I won't leave one behind if I see one." Song Qiming's face had the look of extreme desperation for life and said desperately, "That had nothing to do with our Song family. It was all Dong Fangxi's plan. Our Song family never." Before he finished, he could no longer say anything anymore. Yi Emo had shattered Song Qiming's aorta with his fist. Even as he died, he still had the look of trying to explain something. Yi Emo didn't use a sword to kill him. The sword was just to scare him. There were no marks on both the inside and outside of Song Chiming's body. Even though Yi Mo did this, many people would still guess he killed Song Chiming, but Yi Mo was still going to do this. Sometimes, even though everyone knew, he still needed to put up a show. If Song Chiming was killed by him blatantly, this thing couldn't be suppressed. After all, Song Chiming was an influential person. He threw Song Qiuming next to the woman. Yi Mo killed Song Yuanyi and Song Qishan next. There were only these three important people in this mansion. Although there were still some maids and gardeners, Yi Mo never wanted to kill everyone. He didn't even kill the guards. As for Song Yuanyi and Song Qishan, Yi Mo just burnt them to ash. He only left Song Chiming's body. Although he didn't kill all of the Song family's direct descendants, Yi Mo still felt a lot better. He had been constantly hunted by the Song family, and now he finally killed a few leaders of the family. Then Yi Mo headed towards where Tang Jing was. He wanted to tell her that he would bring her to Beiwei. However, what Yi Mo didn't expect was that Tang Jing actually suicided. He felt a little sad. Tang Jing was a tragic woman and didn't even achieve some small aspirations in the end. He wished she would meet a good person next life. Yi Mo silently burned Tang Jing's body and used a jade box to hold her ashes. He would give it to Beiwei next time. After leaving the Song family, Yi Mo didn't go find Yi Ling. If he did now, it would be blatantly telling everyone that he killed the people at the Song family. The second day, news got out that Song Chiming and his niece's wife were naked on the bed together, and Song Chiming died of overexcitement. Then, the first-in-command Song Yuanyi disappeared. The Song family fell into a deeper abyss after dispersing. The Song family of the 5 big families of China was like the sun of dusk, slowly falling down. At this moment, Yi Mo had left Beijing. He went on the train towards Xian Mountain. His destination was Sharp Sea Corner, the place Qiaogang, and then found the blood coral. It was on his way, so he also wanted to see how Fong Nan was doing. He had agreed to help him, but was delayed by all sorts of things. He also needed Fong Nan to help him with something this time. Because Yi Mo didn't buy a ticket and just jumped on, the first thing he wanted to do was find a seat. However, because Beijing was the first station and there weren't many people going to Xian Mountain, there were still some free spaces on the train. Yi Mo found a seat as soon as he got on. "Brother, are you going to Jingkou?" Yi Mo just got on, and the middle-aged man opposite him greeted and passed a cigarette. Yi Mo pushed the cigarette back and smiled. "I'm going to Xian Mountain, but I don't smoke. I saw that you didn't bring a bag, and I thought you were going to the closest station, Jingkou. Xian Mountain isn't close. Even with this express train, it would take a whole day." This man was very meticulous. Yi Mo noticed this man's hand had a lot of calluses, and his muscles were very tight. It could be seen that he practiced martial arts, although his inner qi cultivation didn't have a level yet, or never even cultivated it systematically. Normal people wouldn't be a match for him. "It's good not to smoke. I'm an old smoker. Brother, are you going to Xian Mountain to get rich?" This man packed the cigarettes away. Although this man just introduced himself suddenly, Yi Mo didn't dislike him. Perhaps it was due to his look. Although he was very skinny, his eyes had spirit and didn't seem dodgy. Yi Mo hated those with dodgy glances. He didn't like those type of people. They were either really calculative or weak and timid people. "No, I just want to go to Guilin. Xian Mountain is just a passing-by place." Yi Mo didn't hide his destination. "Guilin." The middle-aged man frowned. Then another 2 people came. It was a young woman in her mid-20s and another youth with shades. It seemed the 2 were together. They both carried big bags. The young man had some looks and dressed very simply. Her clothes were modest. This youth seemed scholarly and weak. The young woman smiled at Yi Mo and said to that youth, "Xiao Gong, you can sit on the opposite side." Then the young woman sat beside Yi Mo. The man continued, "Brother, Guilin isn't a peaceful place. Why are you going there? Yi Mo smiled but didn't reply. The young woman sitting beside him had a faint smell of blood. Yi Mo had experienced countless killings, so as soon as this young woman sat down, he felt it. And this young woman had a little worried look. It meant that she killed before getting on the train. If she just injured someone, she wouldn't have this bloody smell. But perhaps it was her first time, so she felt scared. But no matter how much this woman killed, it was irrelevant to him. He smiled and looked at the middle-aged man. I have a friend whose business isn't going too well. I'm going to help him. Yi Mo was talking about Fong Nan. He did indeed want to go help Fong Nan. Fong Nan was a good person, and he also wanted to create his own power faction. Fong Nan was a good choice. Your friend is doing business at the border? I heard that those people who can do business at the border aren't simple people. They've all seen blood and big scenes. They pretty much all killed before. Only then can they strike fear in others. This middle-aged man said with a strange expression. Yi Mo looked deeply at the man and immediately knew that he wasn't simple. He talked about blood purposely. Who would talk about this the first time they met a friend? This was too absurd and didn't even suit the topic of the conversation. However, Yi Mo knew that this man could also tell what the woman did. He said this all just to comfort the woman. As for why he was doing this and how he knew, Yi Mo didn't know. Yi Mo smiled. He didn't express his opinion and just didn't talk anymore. However, the young woman beside Yi Mo shook and gradually calmed down. This man just said a sentence to test. Although he didn't know what was with the woman, but he could tell something was wrong. However, he was more testing Yi Mo. Now that he saw that Yi Mo just smiled to his words and not say anything, he immediately knew Yi Mo was no ordinary person. I'm called Song Jiayan. I'm planning to go have a look at Xian Mountain. Brother, what business does your brother do? Ha, if it's suitable, I also want to find something to do. Song Jiangyan's words were obvious. He was asking if there was an opportunity for cooperation. Hearing his words, Yi Mo had an idea. This guy had a meticulous heart and was observational. Now that he asked this question, Yi Mo knew that he was someone bold, and then considering how he comforted the woman, it meant that he was a decent person at last. Thinking about this, Yi Mo nodded. I'm Yi Mo. My friend is called Fong Nan. He's about to do big business. If Zong brother wished to cooperate, it's fine. We are in need of people. Just when Yi Mo finished, and before Zong Jiayan could reply, a few police officers who looked serious reached out to Yi Mo. That youth and the woman saw the police come over, and immediately became pale. They even started shivering. Yuan Meixiang, Yuan Gong, you two really know how to run, huh? But now, someone suspects that you two are involved in a murder case at Jinkou, Fanghe Town. You must go back for investigation. The head police seemed weak and fat, but his tone was very serious. Yuan Meixiang, Yuan Gong, you two really know how to run, huh? But now, someone suspects that you two are involved in a murder case at Jinkou, Fanghe Town. You must go back for investigation. The head police seemed weak and fat, but his tone was very serious. That young woman calmed down instead and looked around before saying, You don't need to do anything. I will go with you guys, but I know that as long as I go, I will have no hopes of coming back out again, so I will tell what happened to everyone here. I will let everyone know what is hiding in this world. Take her away. Yuan Meixiang, if you have anything to say, tell your lawyer. The police didn't wait for this young woman to finish and yelled, Ha ha! My lawyer, as long as I fall into your hands, I would be devoured whole. That Yuan Meixiang girl started laughing out loud, but her face was getting more and more miserable. The two policemen behind the fat police had already came up. They grabbed her hands and was going to cuff her. Let her go. Let her speak. What can other people hear? Zong Jiayan suddenly stood up and pointed at the few policemen and said, The fat police narrowed his eyes and looked at Zhang Jiayan coldly and said, "What, you are going to help the culprit resist arrest?" Zhang Jiayan smacked down on the tea table. "Resist arrest? Just you stop thinking so highly of yourself. You're only a small traffic police. What right do you have to call me helping others to resist arrest? I've seen all sorts of big scenes. You just said she was a suspect, and now she just suddenly became the culprit. White really becomes black in your mouth. Good job. Good job. Sister, just tell us your situation. There are so many people here. I want to see who wouldn't let you speak." As soon as Song Jiayan spoke, there was chit-chat in the carriage. Obviously, there were a lot of people who thought Song Jiayan was right. They should give Yuan Meixiang a chance to speak. "Who do you think you are, teaching a traffic police what to do? Don't you believe that I can take you away as well?" The policeman behind the fat police said impatiently. Song Jiayan laughed and took out a certificate and a few honor badges. "Who am I? I'm a solider. When I was spilling blood for the country, where were you? Am I not even allowed to speak?" The fat police scanned and saw that military certificate. It seemed like a veteran certificate, but not really, and there was a second-level honor and a third level. There were so much honor awards, and the fat police was also shocked, but he was smart and didn't take these rewards to look at, because if he didn't look at them, then he could say that he didn't know. Yuan Meixiang saw that these few policemen didn't say anything and didn't continue to cuff her. She knew that this was her opportunity and immediately cried and said, "3 years ago, I just graduated from the University of Finance. When I passed by Jingkou, Fangnan town, I was being taken into custody illegally by Do Sun and was forced to marry him. During the time, if I didn't do one thing that he wanted me to do, he would beat me viciously." Then, Yuan Meixiang flipped up her clothes, showing all the marks on her body and hands. They were shocking. Completely disregard of law. Zhang Jiayan smashed down on the table furiously. Even the passengers in the carriage saw her and felt sympathetic for her. Yuan Meixiang wiped her eyes and continued, "Half a year later, I found the opportunity to escape and went to the police department at Fangyi town. But not only was I not sent away, but was instead beat up again and brought back by Do's senator then. I had a child, but it was sold by Do's son, and I wanted to run away again. But this time, Do's son guarded me closely and tortured me even more. But this wasn't it. The animal didn't have money and actually wanted me to sleep with his friends and wanted me to sell my body to get money for him. I wouldn't comply no matter what. Later, my brother Yuan Gong found me. He looked for me for 3 years, and the first thing he did when he found me was go to the police, but I stopped her. Even so, this was found by Do's son, this animal. He got people to tie my brother up. I begged him to release my brother." This weak-looking youth rubbed his eyes and held Yuan Meixiang, who was about to fall. Yuan Meixiang sniffed. Do's son agreed to my request, but just when I was celebrating, a friend of his couldn't help anymore and told me Do Seng's real plans. This animal was planning to sell my brother's kidney. That night, while Do's son was drunk, I stole his keys and let my brother out. But just when we were about to escape, we were found by Do's senator. I fought with him and accidentally cut his neck. This thing has nothing to do with my brother. I know that if I went in, I would have no return, but I beg you to let my brother go. He is innocent." "Animal," Zhang Jiayan was furious. "Is there no law anymore? Do's son, this animal, deserved his death. If it was me, I would have killed him 100 times. Why can't you come out after you go in? You bunch of policemen, the country I fought for with my blood is going to be polluted by you like that." The few policemen frowned. They wanted to capture this woman away, but they feared public outrage. Just when the few policemen didn't know what to do, the train had arrived at the new station while Yuan Meixiang said miserably, "Because Do Sen's brother is the captain of the Fangyi Police Department. I heard that the previous captain was a righteous man and was harmed by Do's senator. So if I go in, I'd be dead for sure. It was I who killed Do's senator. It has nothing to do with my brother." I just want you guys to let my brother go. Okay, you finished. Now, there will be someone to take you away. Whatever your situation is, you can tell it at the police department. The fat police looked hesitantly at Zhang Jiayan before saying to Yuan Meixiang. Zhang Jiayan was full of anger. He knew that he couldn't stop the fate of them being taken into the police station, but his personality compelled him to stop this. Killing my brother. How dare you, you evil bitch. You actually ran this far. Another 2 policemen rushed into the carriage. The one walking at the front had triangular eyes. As soon as he came in, he saw the 2 and had violent gazes from his eye. Obviously, in his eyes, the 2 were already dead. Dolin. Yuan Meixiang saw the triangular-eyed man and finally couldn't stop shaking her body. Yi Mo patted Zhang Jiayan, who was about to talk. When that Dolin attacks me, and when he gives his verdict, help me record things. Zhang Jiayan dazed. Although he didn't know what Yi Mo meant, he still took out his phone and nodded. Old F.A., how come you still haven't cuffed her? Han Dan, take these 2 murders away. Dolin looked coldly at the brother and sister. You are Do Sen's brother Dolin? Your brother raped a woman and abused her, and also sold organs. I think you helped out quite a lot, didn't you? Scum. Yi Mo walked out and stopped the triangular-eyed man, saying coldly. He only needed to look at Yuan Meixiang's expression and tone, and he would know that she didn't lie. She even avoided using extreme words. Originally, Dolin was going to tell Yi Mo to piss off, but when he heard the word scum, he could no longer control his anger and kicked towards Yi Mo. Yi Mo sneered and kicked first onto Dolin's Achilles tendon before patting his forehead. Then he continued to ask, tell me everything. All the bad things you did being a police and who you harmed. Who would say the bad things they did. Just when everyone thought Yi Mo was dumb, Dolin's eyes became dazed, and hearing Yi Mo's words, he murmured, I killed Captain Ba because he knew that I raped Dushi's daughter, and he wanted to arrest me. I provide all the girls at the Jing Co brothels. They are all girls from outside who come here to work. I have made a deal with T-Boss that it's 50-50 profit. Everything Dolin said was bloody and gruesome. There were so many people in the carriage, but they all felt shivery. There was actually such an inhuman trash in this world. Yi Mo looked back at Zhang Jiayan and asked, did you record everything? Yes. I didn't expect these 2 brothers to be such bastards. They are worse than animals. I really want to kill him right now. Zhang Jiayan stared at Dolin, who knelt down. His eyes were pouring with flames. Yi Mo smiled and pulled out a gun from somewhere and fired at Dolin's forehead. He actually killed Dolin in front of all these people. Silence. The entire carriage sunk into silence. Even if Dolin could be sentenced to death 10,000 times, he couldn't be killed here. And this person carried a gun with him. You have a gun. After a moment, the fat policeman stared at Yi Mo and asked while taking a few steps back. Obviously, he was worried Yi Mo would attack him. Yi Mo looked at Han Dan, who came with Dolin, and said coldly, I originally planned to kill you as well, but you still have some uses. If you can't provide me with important sources, I will still kill you. Although Han Dan had a gun, he was shaking and subconsciously nodded. Yi Mo then turned around and said to the fat police, indeed, I have a gun, and I killed him. Show me document to the captain of this train. Then Yi Mo took out his blue booklet and dumped it to the fat policeman. The fat police wasn't dumb. It was still incredible that Yi Mo dared to open fire in public despite he obtained the crime evidence first. After all, normal special agencies weren't allowed to do this, but this youth in front of him did. It could only mean that his background was absurdly strong or his status was absurdly powerful. The fat police wasn't dumb. It was still incredible that Yi Mo dared to open fire in public despite he obtained the crime evidence first. After all, normal special agencies weren't allowed to do this, but this youth in front of him did. It could only mean that his background was absurdly strong or his status was absurdly powerful. Those few policemen left quickly. They even took away Do Lin's body. They came and went really fast. Not only did Zhang Jiayan realize Yi Mo was no ordinary person, but the entire carriage knew. At that moment, the whole carriage became a lot more quiet. Zhang Jiayan had a lot of experiences. He took back his things and saluted to Yi Mo with his fists. Yi brother's actions are really satisfying. It's my honor to meet you. I thought Yi brother was a business person. I'm really blind. Obviously, Zhang Jiayan knew that there were a few people who had the permit to kill. Yi Mo was undoubtedly one of them. But he knew that even if Yi Mo had a killing permit, he couldn't kill in public like this. That's why he said Yi Mo's actions were really satisfying. Those who had the killing permit were all the elite of the country. There's no way they would be doing business. Thus, he thought Yi Mo was lying to him before. Yi Mo waved his hand. Zhang brother, you applaud me too much. In fact, I quite like you despise of the wicked character. However, I'm not lying when I told you I was going to the border to do business. I really am going, although I properly own a gun. It's only cooperation relationship. Yi Mo's simple sentence dropped a huge bombshell in Zhang Jiayan's heart. Cooperation relationship? Who had the ability to cooperate with a country? If what Yi Mo said was real, then his power would be absurd. The Yuan sister and brother still hadn't come to reality yet. They were still in shock and disbelief. Do Lin, who was so cocky, was just killed by the youth in front of them so easily. Even so, the youth still seemed to be conversing casually. At this moment, a fatter man ran over with Yi Mo's permit. Behind him followed the fat police. This fatter police came up to Yi Mo and saluted before giving back Yi Mo's document with both hands. I'm the captain of this BK 8977 train. 1 Yutian. Yi instructor, this is your document. Yi Mo took the document and asked for Zhang Jiayan's storage card and passed it to this fat police. This is Do Lin's verdict. Everything is clear. Pass this to the Beijing Police Department. Tell them I said this. As for the matter at Jingkou, I will ask about it next time I come back to Beijing. Yes, Yi instructor. This fat train caption's salute was very up to standard. Okay, the things here are done. I will take away the sister and brother. Their verdict has been heard by the other 3 policemen. Yi Mo said plainly. Seeing the captain take these few police away, Yi Mo sighed, and his desire for power grew stronger. This was the benefit of authority. Without the document, no matter how strong he was, he could only leave after killing but not sit here safely and still not do things according to the rules. Although he knew that taking the 2 away was heavily against the rules, but no one said anything. At this moment, Yuan Meixiang realized what was going on. She didn't expect things to have such a twist, and never had she expected that she would be able to leave unscathed. In her excitement, she was about to kneel down to Yi Mo in gratitude. Yi Mo waved his hand. Just something small, no need for it. I heard you're a graduate of accounting and finance? Yes, after I graduated from the University of Finance, I was preparing to work at Jingkou. Then I met that bastard. Yuan Meixiang spoke and still had anxiety in her eyes. Yi Mo nodded. I will go to do some business. If you have nowhere better to go, then help me do some finance. Of course, if you have a better place to go or need to go back, that's fine too. I'm sure they won't dare to come for you again. I'm willing to go do business with you. However, my brother needs to go to school. In order to find me, he has wasted 3 years of study. Yuan Meixiang's tone was filled with gratitude to Yi Mo. Okay, then you can follow Zhang brother from now on. After I see Fong Nan, I'll think about what to do in the future. As for your brother, he can stay at Guilin and go to school. Yi Mo was happy that he recruited a few on the train, although he didn't know how good Yuan Meixiang was, but he quite approved of Zhang Jiayan. In a dark room in Guilin, Fong Nan was still lying on the bed, but now there were only 3 henchmen left. Other than Rock and Xiao Tai who were loyal to him, there was that Xiao Hua. Xiao Hua was the one who met Yi Mo at Beijing. Nan, brother, it has been a few months, but Yi brother still hasn't come. Should we change places? Xiao Tai asked hesitantly. Rock and Xiao Hua both weren't here. Only Xiao Tai was in the room looking after Fong Nan. Fong Nan understood Xiao Tai's words because he didn't dare to show his face in Guilin or even go to the hospital. Plus, he didn't have money to go to the hospital. Xiao Tai's words meant that Yi Mo wasn't going to come and didn't want Fong Nan to keep waiting. Fong Nan shook his head. Xiao Hua goes nearby the airport every day. He will be able to find Yi brother. I believe Yi brother. He isn't an ordinary person. He said he would come and help me, so he will. He hasn't come now because he's very busy. Nan, brother. Xiao Tai still wanted to say something but was stopped by Fong Nan. Fong Nan waved his hand and said, Xiao Tai, I know what you mean, but I still believe Yi brother. Only Yi brother can cure my leg, and we will have a future only if we follow Yi brother. I won't say much more. I've seen too many people, but only Yi brother deserves me to follow him. He's a true hero. Okay, since you Fong Nan look at me in such a way, Yi Mo, will give you your stage. Yi Mo's voice sounded at the door. Yi brother. Fong Nan struggled to get up, and Xiao Tai quickly went to help hold Fong Nan. A youth behind, Yi Mo squeezed in with excitement and said, Nan brother, I finally found Yi brother today. I told you Yi brother would come. Thank you, Xiao Hua. Fong Nan's excitement in his eyes were unquenchable like Xiao Hua's. Zhang Jian and Yuan siblings didn't expect Yi Mo's friend to be living in such a harsh place. There were putrid smells coming from the small room. This wasn't what the business they were expecting, but both of them didn't ask anything. They've only been with Yi Mo for a short time, but they knew Yi Mo wouldn't lie to them. Yi brother, you're here. Rock carried a big pack and walked in with sweat. Seeing Yi Mo, he was also very joyful and surprised. They hid here arduously for half a year just to wait for Yi Mo. Yi Mo nodded and took out a card and passed it to Zhang Jian and said, There's some money here. Go take some out and rent a better house. We'll talk after we change a place. Zhang Jian didn't expect the card Yi Mo gave him to have a few million. Seeing this amount, he was shocked. To be honest, he had never had so much money on his hands. He didn't expect Yi Mo to trust him so much, giving a few million to him, so casually without even worrying about him doing something dodgy. Yi Mo was someone worth being connected with indeed. Zhang Jian made up his mind. He must get close with Yi Mo. Things were done fast with money. After switching a place, Yi Mo immediately treated Fong Nan's leg. Although he was damaged badly and dragged out for a long time, it took only a week's time in Yi Mo's hands. After a week, Fong Nan could already walk. Yi Mo, however, came to Zhang Jian privately. In his eyes, Zhang Jian had an advantage over Fong Nan and Yu Arrow. Fong Nan couldn't change his gangster temperament. Although he would be able to reign supreme in one region, when things got big, he wouldn't be as meticulous as Zhang Jian. And Arrow was worse than Fong Nan. Zhang brother. Yi Mo just said 2 words, and Zhang Jian waved his hand. Yi brother, I really do look up to you now. You're the most capable person I have seen. You could make Fong Nan walk with that sort of heavy wound. To be honest, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. If you approve of me, just call me Jian. Okay, I won't be polite then. You also saw Fong Nan. He's the leader of a gang at the borderland, Flowing Snake. But now I'm planning for him to do some proper business for me at the borderlands. Of course, I will also need your help. Yi Mo saw that Zhang Jian was straightforward, and so he was also straightforward. Zhang Jian immediately stood up and said, Things should be like this. I came with you because I want to do things with you. I've retired from the army, but I'm still physically capable. Yi Mo shook his head and said, due to some reasons, I need a lot of money now. So I need to establish a business empire and an enormous power corporation. This is just the start. You're not bad in kung fu, but compared to real strong people, you are still a far cry. I have an ancient martial arts cultivation method here. If you're interested, you can learn it or learn it with Fong Nan and his men. Yi Mo took out the cultivation method he got after killing Zheng Chengfa. Although it wasn't much use to Yi Mo, it had great use for Zhang Jiayan and Fong Nan. This is the legendary ancient martial arts secret. Zhang Jiayan was obviously not clueless like Fong Nan. As soon as Yi Mo took it out, he knew how important this was to him. After another week, Fong Nan's leg was pretty much fully recovered. He could even practice a few moves with Zhang Jiayan. Yuan Meixiang's face was also getting ruddier by the day. Yi Mo was prepared to take Fong Nan and Zhang Jiayan to Flowing Snake. After another week, Fong Nan's leg was pretty much fully recovered. He could even practice a few moves with Zhang Jiayan. Yuan Meixiang's face was also getting ruddier by the day. Yi Mo was prepared to take Fong Nan and Zhang Jiayan to Flowing Snake. Leaving behind Xiaohua and the Yuan siblings, Yi Mo took Fong Nan and Zhang Jiayan and others into Flowing Snake. Yi Mo also knew a bit about why Fong Nan was kicked out of Flowing Snake. Xiaohua told him before, and the main reason was due to him. Ning Qingxue went to find him, and in order to protect Ning Qingxue, Fong Nan had conflicts with Shi Wei. Then, when Qi Wanqing came to Flowing Snake, he went and taught Shi Wei a lesson. These caused the hardship of Fong Nan. Where did the amphibian gang come from? Who was Shi Wei? How could he make the amphibian gang attack for him? Yi Mo thought of this and questioned, although he didn't hang in gangs, but he had heard of all the big gangs. How come he had never heard of this amphibian gang? Fong Nan said worriedly, the amphibian gang is a branch of Nanqing. They are powerful, and no one dares to mess with them. If you offend the amphibian gang, then death is your only fate. This time, we're not going to look for trouble with the amphibian gang. We just need to kick away Shi Wei. Shi Wei has a sister, who is the lover of a vice gang leader of the amphibian gang. That's why he could mobilize the amphibian gang. But now, I heard that the gang has left Nanqing. I just don't know if it's real or false. As soon as Fong Nan finished, Zhang Jiayan frowned, and Yi Mo also sighed. This Fong Nan really was dumb. Were they going to get revenge and leave Flowing Snake immediately? If they don't leave, then they would have offended Shi Wei again. Would his brother-in-law let Fong Nan go? Yi Mo didn't say anything, but Fong Nan woke up immediately and said in a troubled tone, I'm afraid that if I do something to that Shi Wei, then her brother-in-law would come again. Zhang Jiayan smiled and said, that's for sure. I suggest we plan for the long term if we can't kill them in once. Although he didn't know how strong the amphibian gang was, Zhang Jiayan has heard of the big name of Nanqing. He knew that, with their power, it was bullshit to fight with Nanqing. It wasn't that he was afraid of death. He needed to persuade them from doing some pointless thing. The amphibian gang could leave Nanqing, meaning that they weren't easy to deal with either. Yi Mo knew what Zhang Jiayan was thinking and smiled. Jiayan, don't worry, others are afraid of Nanqing, but they are not a threat to me. He didn't even feel threatened by Nanqing. How much power did he have? Zhang Jiayan was shocked, but he still chose to believe Yi Mo. From his many years of experiences, he felt that Yi Mo wasn't the type to bluff. Fong Nan had this blind admiration to Yi Mo. Although he knew that the amphibian gang was hard to mess with, his first reaction wasn't the revenge of the amphibian gang, but now that he remembered who the backstone of the amphibian gang was, he felt troubled. No matter how much he admired Yi Mo, he didn't believe Yi Mo could beat Nanqing, who had an army. Although he heard that the amphibian gang wasn't a part of Nanqing anymore, This wasn't a verified fact. Fong Nan, haha, you actually didn't die. You dare to come back to Flowing Snake again. If I let you go today, you are my dad. As soon as Yi Mo walked into Flowing Snake Town, there was an extremely cocky sound. Fong Nan's face was very bad. He scanned this guy and turned around to Yi Mo. Yi brother, this guy is Shi Wei. They call him Echidna because there were a lot of interests in Flowing Snake. With the help of the amphibian gang, he was the person responsible at Flowing Snake. Yi Mo studied Shi Wei. He seemed in his 30s, and his eyes were bulging. It was obvious he had been too lustful, but his expression was very cocky. He still had 4 fearsome-looking henchmen behind him. What are you looking at? I'll gouge out your eyes later. Shi Wei said cruelly at Yi Mo. Then he looked at Fong Nan. If you tell me where are those 2 girls who came here last time, perhaps I'll let you live. You are Echidna? Yi Mo looked at Shi Wei and was greatly disappointed. Regardless of whether this guy had support, Fong Nan couldn't even deal with this guy. Fong Nan wasn't really up to standard. If it was him, even if he didn't have the power to fight with Echidna, he would think of a way to kill this guy before he left Flowing Snake. Shi Wei looked at Fong Nan, and then looked at Yi Mo before finally understanding who was the boss. He walked in front of Yi Mo and waited to use his hand to lift Yi Mo's chin, but he only raised his hands about half an inch and had his whole arm severed by Yi Mo's wind blade. Yi Mo was no soft person. He came here to kill. A few seconds later, Shi Wei finally yelled in pain and sat on the ground. He just lost an arm for no apparent reason. Fong Nan reacted first because he knew Yi Mo's power and didn't mind Yi Mo's killing actions at all. Zhang Jian also reacted and looked at Yi Mo with different eyes. Although he guessed that Yi Mo was an ancient martial artist when he gave him the cultivation method, he couldn't even tell when Yi Mo attacked just then, or even see what knife Yi Mo used to sever Shi Wei's arm. Kill him, Shi Wei shrieked, and the 4 men also reacted. They pulled out their swords and charged at Yi Mo, Zhang Jian, and Fong Nan also pulled the curved swords from their waists. But Yi Mo just shook his finger to them and sliced his hand in the air twice. 2 wind blades, and 4 heads were chopped down, until the heads fell to the ground. The 4 henchmen still ran a few steps forward before falling down next to Shi Wei. Yi Mo's expression was plain. To him, killing a few people was no different than stepping on a few ants. Plus, he was about to start his first business in Flowing Snake, and he needed to kill. No one would give out Flowing Snake if he just spoke a few words. Fong Nan could still stay calm, but Zhang Jian was completely shocked. He had seen many masters, even yellow-level tertiary stage, but he had never seen someone as storing as Yi Mo. He only saw Yi Mo wave his hand quickly twice, and didn't even see him take out any projectiles, and 4 people were killed. What shocked Zhang Jian more was Yi Mo's attitude towards killing. Before, he thought Yi Mo could stay calm after killing, probably due to the permit, but now he knew Yi Mo's calm after killing had nothing to do with permit. For the first time, Zhang Jian felt he hadn't truly understood Yi Mo yet. He only saw the surface of Yi Mo. As for Yi Mo's origin and power, he only understood a little. Yi Mo was decisive in killing and knew what was important. He made him record the evidence first before killing Do Lin. When he killed here, he didn't ask about anything. It could be seen that he was meticulous and not someone impulsive. Thinking about what he had been treated unfairly before, he thought that perhaps following Yi Mo, he would really be able to start a big career. Thinking about this, Zhang Jian started to get excited and made up his mind. Looking at Shi Wei, who had already fainted, Yi Mo said to Fong Nan, "Bring him with us. We'll smash our way into Flowing Snake the most direct way." When Fong Nan's henchmen carried Shi Wei into Flowing Snake, everyone knew that Fong Nan came back for revenge. Compared to Shi Wei, Fong Nan knew Flowing Snake more thoroughly and had more connections. The reason Shi Wei was able to stand on his feet at Flowing Snake was due to his brother-in-law. Otherwise, with his petty capabilities, he would have been devoured by others long ago. So, Yi Mo didn't even kill many people. He just killed more than 10 of Shiwei's loyal men, and the entire Flowing Snake was once again controlled by Fong Nan. Some of his lost henchmen came back again. Shiwei was dumped in front of Yi Mo like a dead dog. Fong Nan patted the blood stain on his body and spat on Shiwei before saying, "Ye brother, I've already interrogated. It's said that because Qian Longtu died, and Nanqing is having internal conflicts and it's now breaking apart. The amphibian gang declared independence due to that, and no longer belongs to Nanqing. Their HQ is at the Sharp Sea Corner, and this guy's brother-in-law is already the leader of the gang. Sharp Corner Sea? Yi Mo thought he was going to go there before anyways. Half a year ago at Hong Kong, he heard about the internal conflicts at Nanqing. He didn't expect that it's still going on now. It seemed that he didn't need to go to Nanqing recently. He would wait after the conflict was over, and then go make himself a fortune. That Lang Ji was really useless. He still wasn't able to control Nanqing. Shiwei woke up at this moment and happened to hear Fong Nan's words. He immediately understood that his situation was dire and quickly called, "Nan, brother, have mercy. I'm willing to join Pu Dao gang. Spare me if you kill me and my brother-in-law asks." Yi Mo frowned and said to Fong Nan, "Drag him out and finish him." Fong Nan dragged Shiwei, who was crying out loud without hesitation. Soon, that howling disappeared. Fong Nan walked in with some blood. "Ye brother, Rock and Shao Ti have gone out to appease the people. Flowing Snake would stabilize soon." Fong Nan also knew that Yi Mo was going to do things at Flowing Snake. To him, too many people were interested in Flowing Snake. If Yi Mo didn't intervene forcefully, he would soon be devoured whole. Yi Mo looked at Zhang Jiayan and Fong Nan and nodded and said, "Okay, Fong Nan, you need to listen more to Jiayan from now on. We will be doing a business, not a gang. Getting money by collecting protection payments and robbing others isn't the long way to go. Flowing Snake is just the start of our business. I believe our business will get bigger and better. What we need to do is that when people hear the product is from Flowing Snake, they would go buy it regardless of price." Yi Mo looked at Zhang Jiayan and Fong Nan and nodded and said, "Okay, Fong Nan, you need to listen more to Jiayan from now on. We will be doing a business, not a gang. Getting money by collecting protection payments and robbing others isn't the long way to go. Flowing Snake is just the start of our business. I believe our business will get bigger and better. What we need to do is that when people hear the product is from Flowing Snake, they would go buy it regardless of price." Song Jiayan's eyes gleamed with light. Although Yi Mo didn't describe some grand scheme, he didn't doubt Yi Mo's actions at all. "Yi brother, are we going to start a company?" Fong Nan wasn't an idiot and could tell that Yi Mo wanted to do a big business. Yi Mo nodded. "The first step is to start a company. Let's call it Luo Yu." Yi Mo thought for a moment and remembered that he came from Luo Yu continent. Looking at the gangster temperament in Fong Nan, Yi Mo laughed to himself, but he still needed to remind Fong Nan, "Fong Nan, we're doing legal business now. Don't do the previous things anymore. I want that when I came back to Flowing Snake, it is no longer a chaotic place. I want to build a real city. I think Jiayan will understand what I mean. You should listen to him more." Jiayan nodded and said, "I understand, but what will our first product be? We can't keep selling illegal products." Yi Mo knew this. The reason he wanted to establish Luo Yu was to help him accumulate wealth and search for the herbs around the world. His ultimate goal is still to help him cultivate. Luo Yu will be pharmaceutical. Of course, our main purpose is to collect all sorts of precious herbs. I have a detailed list here with some images. Jiayan can be responsible for this. From now on, Jiayan can manage Luo Yu. Yemo took out the list he drew already and gave it to Zhang Jian. What about me, brother? Fong Nan asked hesitantly. You will be responsible for the safety of the company. Once our company earns a lot of money, people will be jealous, so your job is to make Luo Yu absolutely safe. Yemo said immediately. Fong Nan didn't care about the title of the position. He just blindly followed Yemo. Now that Yemo assigned this to him, he immediately patted his chest in promise. Yemo then said to Zhang Jian, I still have 2 disciples at Luo Tsang. They will be managing he products. When you have time, go to Luo Tsang and bring them over. As for Yuan siblings, you can also let them help. As for heart improvement serum and beauty pill. And so, Yemo had already taught Eru. He believed that as long as there were enough materials, Eru would be able to push out these few products. After arranging these things, Yemo took out all the money in his bank and transferred it to Zhang Jian. Then he left Flowing Snake. He had already established his followers. He believed that if he continued like this, Luo Yu would definitely be able to collect the herbs he needed, and it could be the business tycoon that shocked the world. Fall was harvest time, but not for all. The Song family was annihilated and diminishing, but this wasn't the biggest news. The biggest rupture was that the Xianjiang Chao family was massacred in one night. Being the 3rd largest family in China who had power in both Beijing and Xinjiang, most families could only admire it in awe. But now, with the Xianjiang Chao family being annihilated, the Beijing Chao family also fell down a cliff and was about to exit the 5 big family stage. The 5 big families of Beijing. The Song family was diminished. The Yi family was far from its glory days. The Chao family took such a heavy blow. The only ones who could still deserve to be part of the big families were the Zhang family and Li family. The annihilation of the Xianjiang Chao family also warned all the other major families that they were far from being indestructible. The Xianjiang Chao family was not without survivors. Chao Gang was one of the 3 lucky survivors. He listened to Yemo's suggestion, but was reproached by his grandpa. However, Chao Gang believed that Yemo was no ordinary person, and Yemo gave him that feeling that Yemo was someone above the families. He didn't believe Yemo would say such thing to him for no reason. Although his grandpa Xiaozhen rebuked his words, he still secretly attached a few cameras and left Xinjiang. Chao Gang went back to Beijing and told what Yemo told him to his second grandpa Xiao Xian. Xiao Xian heard that it was Yemo's warning and was going to contact Xiaozhen immediately, but at this moment, he got news of Xinjiang Chao family being annihilated. When he got to Xinjiang, he found that all the surveillance had been destroyed except for the 3 cameras Chao Gang secretly put down. Xiao Xian looked at the surveillance record Chao Gang took out and sighed. Those with great wisdom in the Chao family were too little. If they could listen to Chao Gang's words this time, the Xinjiang Chao family wouldn't have such a big disaster. There was only 2 black-clothed men recorded. They both were tall, but when they killed the Chao family people, they were like demons. Although the cameras didn't show everything, but Xiao Xian couldn't help shake. These people were so cruel. Second grandpa, why did they do this? They can just take the blood coral. Why would they still kill everyone? Chao Gang's eyes were red. He couldn't understand. Xiao Xian sighed and turned off the video and stared at Chao Gang for a long while before asking, How you know Yemo didn't do it? Chao Gang dazed. He didn't expect his grandpa to ask such a question, but a moment later, he immediately said, I have a feeling that he isn't this sort of person. If he was, then he wouldn't remind me. And the 2 people on the screen are both much shorter than him. Chao Xian nodded. Tell me exactly what Yemo told you before. Chao Gang reminisced and said he told me that if the blood coral was taken by the Cha family, they would be fine, but if any other families took it, nothing good would come out of it. He also said that the Cha family was a semi-hidden family and could contact the hidden sex. Then he asked me where the blood coral was found. Xiao Xian suddenly stood up and then sat down slowly after a moment while murmuring to himself, "The Cha family is actually a semi-hidden sect. No one of this happened. Our Qiao family has no way to get revenge for this." Sigh. "Second grandpa, let's give the tape to the police." Xiao Gang hadn't finished and was interrupted by Xiao Exan. "Xiao Gang, don't mention the tape and Cha family thing again, okay? If the Cha family is really a semi-hidden family, then it would be a suicide to hand the tape out. They have the power to annihilate the Beijing branch of our family as well." Xiao Xian said very seriously. Xiao Gang dazed and said after a while, "Second grandpa, are we just going to let it go like that?" "Let it go," Xiao Xian murmured and stared at Xiao Gang. "Xiao Gang, do you know which family is really the biggest family in China?" Before Xiao Gang could reply, he continued, "Sometimes the greatness of a family isn't just about the political power. The biggest family of China is actually the Zhang family. It's said that the Zhang family has an extreme master, but that master never goes to the Zhang family, so people gradually forget about it. And the real second family is the Song family. The Song family hid their power extremely well. People maybe guess about the extreme master in the Zhang family, but the Song family definitely has yellow-level masters, and not just one. Although our Qiao family is ranked third, but in actual fact we might be the last in the 5 great families." "Why do you say this, Grandpa?" Xiao Gang was confused. Xiao Xian shook his head and sighed. "The Song and Yi family had conflict for so many years, but the Song family didn't do anything to the Yi family. Do you know why? It's because Yi family had a very strong help called Huang Yu. His long sword was invincible. But the Yi family destroyed themselves by kicking Yi Mo away, and this almost resulted in family annihilation. If it wasn't that the Song family also offended Yi Mo, perhaps there would be no Yi family in Beijing. They would have been long devoured by the Song family." Then Xiao Xian looked at Xiao Gang and asked, "Xiao Gang, you understand what I just said?" Xiao Gang was very smart. Although he came from a big family, he didn't have the usual rich second-generation temperament. He immediately understood what Xiao Xian was saying, but asked bewilderingly, "Second grandpa, you mean that the Yi family and Song family are both stronger than our Qiao family, but they've all diminished due to you, brother?" Xiao Gang nodded with satisfaction. "Not bad. I'm very happy you have such understanding. Yi Mo told you before that if the Qiao family gave the blood coral to him, and they would be fine. He even didn't care about the Earth Fiend people, and he could still annihilate the Song family with all the devious schemes they had. This all meant that he is much stronger than what he said and did. So, Yi Mo is a scary person." "Second grandpa." Xiao Gang seemed to understand what Xiao Xian's intentions were, but he was still shocked. After all, Yi Mo was just a single person, but his Qiao family was a whole family. Xiao Xian shook his head and continued, "After that race, I also checked the recordings. The Cha family was the last, but both of their cars exploded. Do you think this is by chance? If I'm not wrong, then it must be related to Yi Mo. I don't know the exact complications, but our Qiao family and the Cha family already formed deep enmity, and the Cha family is actually a semi-hidden family. So if our Qiao family wants revenge, we can only do it through Yi Mo." Xiao Gang immediately understood and said, "Second grandpa, you want me to find Yi Mo?" "Indeed, we have a common enemy, and other than him, no one else can help our Qiao family. Of course, we can just sit here and wait. Although we can't hand this tape to the police, we can go find General Han Zixin. He can help us, and he definitely wouldn't just let this go. Now leave Beijing and find Yi Mo immediately. You don't need to worry about things here," Xiao Xian said. "Indeed, we have a common enemy, and other than him, No one else can help our Chow family. Of course, we can just sit here and wait. Although we can't hand this tape to the police, we can go find General Han Zaishin. He can help us, and he definitely wouldn't just let this go. Now leave Beijing and find Yi Mo immediately. You don't need to worry about things here. Xiao Xian said. At the Sharp Corner Sea area, the amphibian gang was the authority. No one dared to say anything to them. They were at the border, and after recently leaving Nanqing, they had become even more stronger. With Nanqing not being able to take care of itself, the amphibian gang has completely controlled the borderland commerce. When Yi Mo arrived at Sharp Sea Corner, the leader of the gang, Wang Zhou had a face full of killing intent, throwing a tantrum. Wang Zhou killed the leader of the gang, Guoquan, half a year ago and declared independence from Nanqing. With Nanqing State, they didn't even do anything to the amphibian gang. So now, the amphibian gang was growing steadily, and Wang Zhou reigned supreme. Beside Wang Zhou was an exceedingly busty woman who was rubbing her eyes and weeping. No matter who killed Shui, I will make him die without a complete corpse. I will annihilate his entire family and cut his skin off inch by inch and feed it to dogs. Facing the woman beside him, Wang Zhou was more furious. Then he breathed heavily and took out a gun and slammed it on the table. Investigate. Even if it's the God of the heavens, I won't let him go. Chun Er, most of our brothers are here. Bring some brothers and head to Flowing Snake immediately. There were 50 to 60 people in the hall, and in the middle was a tied-up man. To be exact, the man wasn't tied up, but nailed. His ligaments were all nailed to a wooden block. His head was sagging, and it was unknown if he was alive or dead. When Yi Mo came to the Sharp Corner Sea, he was also shocked by the amphibian gang. The headquarters was made almost like a 5-star hotel, full of luxurious decorations everywhere. Perhaps a few years later, the amphibian gang could start a business district. Bang! Yi Mo kicked open the door of the amphibian gang's biggest meeting room, looking at Wang Zhou, who didn't even react yet, and sneered. You are the leader of the amphibian gang? You don't need to go find me. I've already come. Wang Zhou dazed for a moment and shot up. How dare you? You killed Shui? You dare to show your face. Don't kill him. Capture him first. I'll teach him who's the real boss here. Before Wang Zhou finished, a few bulky tattooed men already charged up while Wang Zhou looked coldly at Yi Mo and sneered. You learnt kung fu for a few days, and you think you can do something? I'll make you pay for the school fees today, and give you a taste of what it's like being nailed to wood. Who's the guard today? He dare let him. Wang Zhou suddenly stopped as he looked at the center of the room with his mouth wide, open in shock. Those 4 men who charged up already lost their heads. Wang Zhou looked at Yi Mo in shock and wasn't able to react in a long time. It was just a few seconds and his 4 henchmen lost their heads. Kill him. Wang Zhou soon understood what was happening and yelled while firing a shot with his gun at Yi Mo. Yi Mo sneered and grabbed the bullet Wang Zhou shot while throwing it back. The bullet pierced Wang Zhou's wrist and his gun fell onto the floor. At this moment, the tens of the gang members had surrounded Yi Mo. Yi Mo suddenly spun around and started to ascend in the air. At the same time, his 2 hands kept sending out wind blades with some fireballs. Blood flew everywhere, and the entire room was like hell. Wang Zhou was completely dazed. He already forgot that his wrist was shot and forgot that Yi Mo took his bullet with his bare hands. How did such a person exist in the world? Was he even human? Killing people in this way? And fireballs? Yi Mo's wind control could only last a few minutes, but after a few minutes he landed in front of Wang Zhou. The gang members in the meeting room had all become bodies. Most of them have already turned to ash. Wang Zhou's mouth was dry as he pointed at Yi Mo shakily. What sort of scenes hadn't he seen? But not like this. Those who knew Wang Zhou all called him a slaughter demon. They all said they would rather offend Hades than Wang Zhou of the amphibian gang. But today, he finally understood what was really a slaughter demon. You are gang leader, Wang? You said you wanted to kill all my family, so I came here first. Yi Mo kicked Wang Jiu off his seat and then kicked the woman who had fainted out. Then he sat down. Big brother, this is a misunderstanding. From today on, I'm your subordinate. If you tell me to go east, I won't go west. Wang Jiu suddenly felt cold, not minding that there were many bloody bodies next to him. Arg. At this moment, that woman had awoken, and when she saw countless bodies all around her, she immediately screamed. Wang Jiu took out a dagger and stabbed into this woman's throat, and immediately said, "It's this bitch that tricked me to attack Big Brother. I killed her." Big Brother. As he spoke, Wang Jiu's teeth couldn't help shaking. He had never thought he would be killed one day when he was killing. He could be indifferent about the life and death of others, but he took his own life to be very crucial. I heard you say that you were going to nail me like that man. Yi Mo pointed at the nailed man and said plainly, "Misunderstanding. Big Brother, this is all a misunderstanding. Wang Jiu could no longer hold the fear in his heart. He suddenly understood Yi Mo's meaning. Yi Mo sneered and walked to the nailed man. He raised his hand, and a few metal nails fell on his hands. He casually dumped the unconscious man aside and kicked Wang Jiu. Wang Jiu happened to smash into the wooden block, and Yi Mo's 4 nails shot perfectly into Wang Jiu's 4 ligaments. Ah! Wang Jiu, who killed so many, actually fell unconscious. The wooden block he designed had countless people nailed on it, but today it was himself looking at Wang Jiu, who had fainted. Yi Mo threw out another wind blade, and his head was chopped off by half. It sunk by the wooden block. Yi Mo looked at the man he saved and fed him a few pills while using qi to treat him a little before leaving him there. If he was just looking for Wang Jiu's trouble, then he could leave now, but he had a company at Flowing Snake, so he needed to completely eradicate the amphibian gang from its roots. Yi Mo scanned out his spirit sense. There were amphibian gangsters around being boisterous and lustful. When his spirit sense scanned to an underground room tens of meters out, he was completely infuriated. That underground room was like a slaughterhouse. Multiple dead bodies were simply wrapped together. At this moment, that man saved by Yi Mo had woken up, and he didn't even look at Yi Mo before saying the amphibian gang is human trafficking and selling organs. But he just said that, and he fainted again. It was too easy on Wang Jiu to die like that. Yi Mo didn't continue searching. He walked out of the meeting room and started a carnage. This was the first time in his life that he killed people so cruelly. About 200 amphibian gangsters. Not one escaped. They were all killed by Yi Mo. After this, Yi Mo finally felt relived. He took that unconscious man and left the room. Then he threw out tens of fireballs, and the originally grandiloquent manner of the amphibian gang was burned to nothing. Fire rose high in the air that could be seen even tens of kilometers away. An hour later, this man had awoken. Although he suffered heavy injuries before, this was nothing in Yi Mo's hands. He left there before the man woke up. Due to the high-rising fire, soon large amounts of police cars arrived. They saw a region of ruins, and that man who barely got up. "Captain Wang, why are you here?" 2 policemen ran over. Obviously, they knew this man, and he was actually a cop. The amphibian gang is full of sin, and when I was getting evidence, I was found by Wang Jiu's men. I almost lost my life, but someone seemed to have saved me. As for who I didn't see clearly, report this immediately and immediately hunt the amphibian gangsters. The man saw his team here and finally felt relieved. Ooh. The Sharp Sea Corner amphibian gang was scooped in one go by the police, and because the fugitives had nowhere to go, they burnt their HQ. Of course, this was the official word. The amphibian gang reigned the borderlands, and no one dared to manage them. And they came from Nanqing, so they did things in Nanqing style. Their HQ was built like Nanqing HQ, by the sea, which was good for attack or defense. So it was very hard to annihilate the amphibian gang. But finally, they met someone tough and was slaughtered clean in one night. Almost 200 gang members, but no one was left. No one dared to talk about the person who annihilated the amphibian gang. This was the story amongst the citizens. No matter what, the destruction of the amphibian gang was the most explosive thing other than the annihilation of the Xian Jiang Qiao family. What was different was that the annihilation of the amphibian gang was something that everyone felt elated about. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.